The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think he missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
High in an Ohio sky, from the womb-like security of the blimp gondola, we look down at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, which this afternoon plays host to the Defined Auto Works 2.5, the 8th round on the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series schedule, sanctioned by the Quality Racing Syndicate, with all the action from Pace Lap to Victory Donuts up to you live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. This 15-minute streamy award-worthy pre-race show will count us down to the green flag when our field of Ford Mustangs and Mazda MX-5 start racing in two different classes. 2.5 hours later, drivers from a pair of winning teams will earn the trophy and a virtual kiss from Miss Mid-Ohio herself, Martha Mansfield. So bring cyberspace into your place, dish up a few spicy Bahama Mama sausages, pour a cold glass of Cherokee Red, plop yourself down, and you'll be all set to enjoy the 150 minutes of simulated endurance multi-class sports car drama that will be streaming your way. From the Buckeye State, hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soup Zahn. Next to me in the booth are It 1 and It 2. That's Sean Crackers Ambrose to watch the Street Tuner class and Adam Young to keep track of the Grand Sports Division. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is Jason Pop Fleishley, and the camera locations have been created exclusively for GSRC by the much sought-after Dougie Beard. This afternoon's broadcast is sponsored by the highly skilled performance automotive shop, Find AutoWorks. Located just east of Columbus, Ohio, this garage is operated by enthusiasts for enthusiasts, building and tuning engines for use on street and track, custom modifications. Sean, even design and fabrications are available.
Soup, any drivetrain is welcome at Defined Auto Works, but their racing connection is tied to the renowned heritage of Mazda. Their reputation was built upon their success with Mazda's beloved rotary engines. Defined Auto Works holds national records for horsepower from the rotary engine, and Adam, they'll bid you a 2, 3, or 4, yes, 4 rotary power plant beyond compare.
And Defined Auto Works often tests and tunes right here in Mid-Ohio, only 90 minutes north of their facility. The most recent projects includes work for CESCS's own John Deuce Allen, driving today in the ST class for 49 Motorsports. Contact them anytime at definedautoworks.com or stop by when you are in town for the race. And Adam's going to have to put $5 in the jar there. He missed his cue. We hope you were with us last time for the Interlagos race. In the Grand Sports Class, Extreme Motorsports 2 had Todd Hansarenko leading off, and he led until the driver swap, but was not able to distance himself far enough ahead of Busch Finks Blues' David Friedman. Friedman had a great run. Try as he might, Hansarenko's partner Travis Davis was no match for Busch Finks Blue anchor Mika Eschhaus, who got the Sirocco-flavored Busch Fink the win. In the Street Tuner class, Sonny Ketchen also outstinted Asbury Motorsports to the 74. He solo stinted it to the win ahead of 49 Motorsports, piloted by Robert Hartley and Deuce Allen. Adam, you mentioned Mid-Ohio in the sponsor plug a bit earlier. Tell us a little bit about this place.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and see what the power of an on switch on a mic can do here. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course opened in 1962, almost just for fun. The main purpose was to give guys a safe place to race their sports cars. Now hop in the DeLorean, don't forget to tip Doc Brown, and go forward about 20 years, 1982, when the facility was sold. The new owner came in, widened the track, added grandstands, hospitality, and essentially turned the track into the place we all know and love today. Up until 1982, the main sanctioned races were go-karts. Since then, most of the major sanctioning bodies in America have hosted races here. Nowadays, NASCAR, IndyCar, NASCAR Infinity, and the American Motorcycle Association have events. The track itself is a 13-turn natural terrain flowing 2.25-mile layout. We've got a mix of corners from high-speed turns to tight hairpins. Should provide a good mix of action today. Now let's go ahead and go fast with Joe Peak in a lap around Mid-Ohio.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Mid-Ohio. Coming down to turn 1, it's going to be a fairly fast left-hander. The car should be able to handle that inside curb pretty well. Just make sure not to cut too far over it and get a slowdown penalty. The main thing is to get yourself a good run off the corner, because as we climb up the hill, you're heading towards the keyhole, which is a popular place to pass. From above, this looks like a simple 180-degree corner, but from inside the car, you can see it's got a tricky crest in the middle of it. Squaring off your exit will be the order of the day, not just because of the elevation change, but also because it leads onto the backstretch, where top end will be critical. It's not totally straight here, so you'll glide it through the kink and then bring the car off to the left to set up for China Beach. This is the place where you'll probably see the most passes made, but also the most cars off into the kitty litter with the way the track dips in the braking zone. However, it can be possible to defend from the outside. The track switches back as we head into madness, so holding your own can allow you to fight back over this very blind left-hander. But we're not done yet, and the circuit switches into yet another right-hander before climbing into the S's. You won't see a lot of passes through here, but that doesn't mean some side-by-side action won't occur at some point. The real difficulty comes in the braking for the entry to Thunder Valley. It's curved with not a lot of runoff. Then this huge rise will make the car light right when you want to put the power down. It's not uncommon to see drivers go wide into the grass coming out of there. Now it's back uphill, and you want to hold as tight as you can to the armco to the right. This gives you the widest arc you can get through 11, where the car will really want to plow off into the weeds. Before you know it, you've got to brake for the carousel. There's a bunch of different lines you can take through here, but my preference is like Amjad does. Shallow entry, drift wide, then cut back for a good exit. From there, keep your foot down around the final left-hander and come across the line to finish your lap around Mid-Ohio.
The smooth-tongued Joe Peak walks you around Mid-Ohio. Now, let's look at the 4 championships up for grabs, and for the first time this season, we have dropped points accounted for. Now, let's explain a little bit. You'll also see something called pocket points. We'll talk a little bit more about it during the race, but for right now, basically what that means, a pocket point is your highest dropped race. So that's your dropped race insurance. If you were to score a 0 or have a low score, that's the minimum that you're going to get in your race today. So, Sean, where are we going to start?
All right, well, let's start with the GS Driver Championship, and Mika Eshouse, 4 wins in 6 attempts here this season, sits with 82 pocket points. So Mika got a pretty good buffer right there. Now, Jeff Jacobs, +2, he's had Honzarenko and Patrick Bieri as teammates, has no pocket points left. So he has nothing to work with there. No wiggle room for him. Patrick Bieri, down 1, teamed with Kevin Ford and Jeff Jacobs twice each. Now, James King, down 1, playing the role of keeping the car straight for his hot shoot teammate, Mika Eshouse. And then we go down to Craig Williams, sitting down there too. A solo effort at Phillip Island is the only thing that separates him from his partner, Craig Parks, right now, Sue.
Yeah, Williams, those two guys, Craig Parks and Craig Williams team up there. Craig Parks makes 1 race, otherwise they'd be tied there. Now, let's go to the GS Team Championships. Now, there's no change in the top 5. Bushmink Racing Blues, manned by Mika Eshouse and James King, still lead. We talked about this earlier up there when Sean was going through the Drivers' Championships. Jeff Jacobs and Patrick Bieri have been the main force behind the number 38 Extreme Motorsports. The 2 Craigs, Williams and Parker, proved that the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the the sum of the whole is greater than its parts. Is that what they taught me in high? I don't know what I'm saying there. As Bushmink Red sits in 3rd. What that really meant to say was that Craig Williams and Craig Parks together make an awesome team. The always solid Kevin Ford, with some help from others, including lately it's been Michael Burgett, has the number 32 Extreme Motorsports in 4th. And then Flying Tortoise Motorsports is in 5th, manned by Travis Davis and Russell Ruddick. Sean, how about the Drivers' Championship in the ST class?
Well, let's see. We all know Sonny Kitchen's been pretty dominant this season. Sits up there with 70 in the pocket right now. Again, pretty good buffer for him. One missed race is the only reason Szabo is not tied with his Asbury partner for the lead right now. But Richard Losper, been solid all season, whole station in third. Losper's partner, James Stevenson, is on the move, up 2 spots to fourth. There's Iannucci right there. Old Giuseppe is rounding out the top 5, but Iannucci and Stevenson are both out of pocket points, so no wiggle room for those boys either.
Exactly. So if they get another no-show, that no-show will actually count compared to the drivers that have those pocket points. They don't have to worry about that. But we are getting close to the end of the season. This is round 8, only 2 more rounds to go, so maybe they'll be able to avoid getting scored at a 0. Let's move to the overlay here for the ST Team Championship. And in the ST Team, it's Asbury Motorsports is getting the better of the 2-team battle royal there between Asbury Motorsports and 49 Motorsports. Sonny Kitchen and Thomas Szabo have been untouchable in that AMS number 74, and they have that car out in front. The 426 sister team, raced mainly by Richard Losper and now more recently James Stevenson, sits in second. Still, with a chance for the crown, is the 49 Motorsports car of Robert Hartley and Andre Saunders. Those guys are very good. They're in the prime car there, the number 49 there. Though others have chipped in well for that team. Chris Hewson and John Allens have the second 49 team in fourth. And finally, cracking into the top 10 for the first time is AMS number 75, piloted by Travis Schwenke and Tom Ratchey. Adam, my goodness, we did a live sponsor plug. We recapped the last round. We talked track and 4 different championships. But to get that much sought-after streaming award that GSRC is after, we need to keep going. So let's talk about now the series and race details.
Yeah, we're doing a good job at cramming in a lot in about 15 minutes, so we'll keep going. See, we're sitting right now, round 8 of 10 of season 7 of the series. Right now, we're only looking at 2 car classes. The Grand Sport Division contained the Mustang with only 70% fuel, and the Street Tuner Division with the MX-5 Mazda. Excuse me, getting a little tongue-tied. 65% fuel in that, and that's important because with the 2.5-hour race, we're expecting both cars to have to pit twice, so the fuel has been set up to make that happen. Of course, we're sitting right now in the middle of open qualifying, which is 20 minutes for each class. A race itself, as I mentioned, about 2.5 hours long. There are no fast repairs. Take care of the car. And there is no incident cap. Today, there is no live flag marshal. And if necessary, if something were to happen and they have to throw the yellow, single file by class will be the restart. And we're looking at dynamic weather and late afternoon setup here. And right now, the weather looks like it's going to be about 85 degrees with a track temperature of 95, winds out of the south at about 10 miles an hour.
And Sean, we'd like to give you the latest news here on GSRC pre-race show. So we had those overlays made up just recently, and then we get the breaking news about the flag marshals. Maybe we're going to have one. Is that what you're understanding?
Well, yes. It does appear that we have race control in the house, and
yeah,
they are ready to act if they need to. Yes.
And I think it's going to be, the race control is going to be manned by somebody familiar with this series, Elliot Hoffman, so we're glad that he's here. So what that means is all these drivers that thought they were going to go 2.5 hours didn't have to worry about a yellow flag, any strategy about pit stops and when they were going to do driver swaps. Well, that all changes, and that's one of the beauties about the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series is the live marshals. They try to emulate as much as the real-world Continental Series as they can, and it's always exciting when there's a late caution to tighten things up. Okay, boys, we have kind of a small field here today. 14 drivers, only 5 in the top class. And then how many you got down there for you, Sean? It looks like about 9 that you're going to be watching down there in the ST tune in the Street Tuners.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm looking at right now. Pretty good field, though. We talk about the 9 that are here. We've got Bushwick Racing Blue, 40, a whole slew of 49 Motorsports cars, yeah. A, B, and C in the house. Asbury Motorsports, all 3 of their cars here. Extreme Motorsports got their car. Mama Jean Racing in the house, the Vermouth team. Going to be Jeroen Newsom in that car, and he is going to run solo today, so hats off to him.
And then, Adam, we got 5 up there. Now, Adam, let's talk a little bit about where the passing zones might be here today. I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about traffic with such a small field, but if you were going to try to make a pass for a position, what would you think would be the best place you may want to try it here at Mid-Ohio?
My favorite spot is probably going into the keyhole. It's coming off a long straight. You go into a decent braking zone, and it's nice and wide too, so you have a chance to be able to make a good clean man, I'm getting tongue-tied a lot today. Good clean pass.
And let's go ahead and make an apology right away. We're not sure why we're not getting it. When you watch the broadcast, you're not going to see the familiar custom paint schemes today. Either Trading Paints is not working, or this series hasn't loaded them up yet, or we missed the cue to download the specific paint skin packet for these guys. We'll see maybe during the broadcast if we can figure out what's going on. Maybe we can sneak them in, and all of a sudden you'll be watching and the cars will change. Looking here at the time, we still have a little bit. They're working on their qualifying. Remember, it's 20-minute qualifying, open qualifying for both classes. The Mustangs are done. So if we want to, let's take a quick look at that. It's really no surprise to see who we see up there. Extreme Motorsports up there on the 1 and 2 spots. Flying Tortoise, though, having a nice run.
Oh yeah, and it's all those cars too, only separated by about 0.3 of a second as far as their qualifying time. So expect a good competitive race there for the Mustangs here today. One car in particular that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is the Extreme Motorsports, the first car.
Oh yeah,
starting here a second is they got in a little bit of a ringer today, and Wyatt Goodman. so I'm expecting that car to do something fun here today.
The interesting thing whenever Wyatt Gooden is here is where do they use him? I'm not sure if his schedule allows him to be the anchor leg, so it'll be interesting. He's teamed up with Travis Davis, and there's a little bird floating around in the... Get that bird out of here. There we go. I have killed the bird. There.
And for anyone from PETA watching, no real animals were harmed in that. So.
You had a nice call, though. Sean, the qualifying's going on. Who's sitting at the top in your charts down there?
Man.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's going to be the 49 Motorsports A sitting there inside, going to be leading there on the outside of row 3. Actually, they'll lead the Street Tuners. Then it's going to be Asbury Motorsports just on the outside of them. And then Asbury Motorsports, the 74 machine, going to be in that next row on the inside, too.
Yeah, it looks like the grid's up, so let's go through this right now. Up on top, we talked about it before. Let's go through the official. I'll take the front row here. Adam, Extreme Motorsports out in front. Now, let's see who's piloting that. It looks like it's going to be, as soon as they take the grid, I could tell you who the driver is out there, but I can't. So the front row is going to be Extreme Motorsports 2 and Extreme Motorsports 1 in the front row. Adam, who do you see in row 2?
Row 2, we're going to start with Flying Tortoise Motorsports. And then Team Bushfink Racing Red should start on the outside of that in row 2.
And then, Sean, I have one more in the Mustangs here, and that's Team Bushfink Racing Blue. Surprising to see them so far back. That's their leading team. And then we get to the pole sitter here in the little MX-5, Sean, sitting on the outside of row 3. And there'll be a little gap there, and that's going to be 49 Motorsports. That's the A team.
Righto, it is. And then you're going to have the Asbury Motorsports number 42. That'll be starting next. And then just outside of them will be the Asbury Motorsports number 74.
And then in the alphabet soup, that is 49 Motorsports, you'll have the B and the C team starting in the next row back up. And then we go back to you, Sean.
All right. And then that'll be the Extreme Motorsports machine in 13th. And then Mama Jean Racing and Jerome Ursum pulling that solo effort we talked about there at the end of the field in 14th.
And did we get the Asbury Motorsports and Progressive Racing Australia?
I'm sorry, I skipped right over there. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, so Asbury Motorsports, 75, they're in 11. They're in the row just in front of the one I just called out, and Progression Racing Australia, officially 12th on the board there on the next to last row. Sorry I messed that up, guys.
That's all right. It's going to be a nice end of season dinner for everybody with you and Adam keep contributing into the jar there. That's $10 in there so far, and we haven't even started the race yet. Okay, they are rolling. Now, go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, we got 2.5 hours to go.
Yeah. We might be able to upgrade the restaurant. Okay, the quick pace lap here as the car pulls off to the left. Gather up the chicken, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. Podzarenko leads the Mustangs down, but look at the drive that on the inside. A great run by Travis Davis in the Extreme Motorsports car. Moves up into second. Sean, what do you got in the MX-5s?
I got Deuce Allen leading him off. James Stevenson hot on his tail, and Robert Hartley in third, right behind Stevenson, all over him right now. Deuce able to get a little bit of a run. Heading down to the keyhole.
Nothing going on in the Mustang, so let's go ahead and stay on this battle a little bit. The MX-5s, usually because they're more draft reliant, usually put on a closer competitive battle than the Mustangs do. Boy, nice battle going on from the 9 cars back there in that street tuner class.
Yes, sir, nose to tail as they head up the back straight here. Heading on down to the beach. Got to be real careful in getting the car slowed down through here.
They line up single file there. Let's run you down the top 5 in that class. It's right now, it's Justin Hilly out there in front. No, it's not. Actually, it looks like it's Deuce Allen in that machine for 49 Motorsports. James Stevenson in the car running in second for the Asbury Motorsports 74. Sonny Ketchen, the big name out there early on this one. We'll see if he comes back for the final step. Robert Hartley for 49 Motorsports, the B team and the C team, has Amjad Yaman, one of our GSRC directors out there making a little look. Keep an eye on him running in that 47 machine.
Yeah, Amjad getting really close there with Sonny Ketchen, runs up on him, but able to navigate it through a very, very tricky turn 12 and into the left-hander there at 13, heading up across the stripe. No change for position.
Before we go back to the Mustangs, we'll follow up a little bit about Amjad. I was talking to him. His nickname, of course, is Dr. Ramjet. That's what Mama Jean called him by mistake, and it kind of stuck. He's also the doctor of pit topology, but he was mentioning that because his duties with GSRC, he's doing so much directing work, and man, he is good at it. He doesn't get as much chance to race anymore, and he believes his skills are beginning to fall off a bit. Let's go over to the Mustangs real quick, because now we have a 3-car battle up in front of Extreme Motorsports 2, and again, that's Jeff Jacobs out for that one, so we're going to see Todd Hansarenko in that one a little bit later. Look at this close battle, though. Second place now, another Extreme Motorsports. That's Travis Davis in that machine. And then it is Craig Parks for the Bush Fink Racing Red Team. They've got a little bit of distance back to Matthew Ketela in the racing for the Flying Tortoise right now. That's a name I'm not familiar with. And then James King rounding up 5th. And King actually making a move. There goes King, moving himself up into 4th. He gets around the Flying Tortoise car.
Yeah, Matthew Ketela, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that name, put a wheel off there, and then James King followed suit, so they kept them side by side, and now Matthew is way off the track. I mean, he's not spinning out everything. He's able to get it straight back and going again, but definitely puts him far behind. And really, the Mustangs are really running just nose to tail, keeping single file right up until you got to them, and they made it exciting for you for a little bit.
Okay, let's make a call on Matthew's last name. Let's accent the middle initials. I'm going with Ketila as that officially done. And Matthew, if that's incorrect, friends and family, why don't you send us a tweet? Let us know how you really pronounce that last name. Or you can do it on the YouTube channel if you're watching over there. Let us know.
All right, Soup, Adam, here's the development here for me. Robert Hartley starting to struggle just a little bit, gives up position. Sonny Ketchen gets around, puts himself up to 3rd now. Amjad Yaman really trying to take an opportunity here away from Hartley. Again, Hartley seems to be struggling with the car just a bit. We're going to find out here as they get down to China Beach, as they navigate this back end of the course. We'll find out how good his car is handling right now as they get in here to the right-hander.
As we ride on board with the 47 machine there, driven by Amjad Yaman. Just to follow up on Sonny Ketchen, he's out in the leadoff leg right now. I went to check to see if the Hungarian dancer, his partner, Thomas Zabel, was with him today, and he is scheduled to race. Last race when we were in Interlagos, Sonny had to do it all by himself. He had to solo the 2.5 hours, which must have been not that rough as he went to the win. But right now, look at the car out in front beginning to pull away That's Deuce Allen doing a nice job out there trying to distance himself a little bit over James Stevenson.
Yeah, a little bit, but Stevenson not letting him get too far away. In fact, Stevenson making a really nice run through the last turn now. That is such a tricky complex there.
Let's go to the Mustangs. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, we got Travis Davis taking a good look inside as go into the keyhole, and he is going to take the top spot. Jeff Jacobs not able to get that over-under, try to come back on him. So in fact, he might lose second spot to Greg Parks here, trying to go into the beach. Nice long straightaway here. This is another good passing area. Be watching this area here as the race goes along. And I really think Greg Parks is going to be able to get him here.
Stay in there nice, and there he does get that job. He's going to be able to close the door. Yes, he did. Greg Parks moves that Team Bushfink Red now up to second. And of course, Jeff Jacobs back there is the believer of the cake song. I like a girl with a short dress and a long jacket. Well, I don't know about the dress part, but his partner, and that today is going to be Todd Honzarenko, certainly has a long jacket with nice long coattails for Jeff Jacobs to hang on to and see if he can get another victory. Jacobs' job is to simply keep that car clean and straight till he turns it over to his hot shoe partner. Just get it anywhere close, and Jeff Jacobs, that's how he's making a living here in the CESCS.
Well, one thing to note, while these guys have been racing up here, allowed James King, the Team Bushfink Racing blue car, to catch up just a little bit. He's still a decent ways back behind him, but, at least he was able to close some of that gap that he lost when he was putting wheels off and fighting with Matthew a little while ago.
And just to clarify, I don't know anything about Honzarenko wearing a short skirt. This was illustrating that about the coattail part there, so let's make that clear.
Long blonde hair, maybe?
Maybe. I don't want to get start any false rumors. Just trying to illustrate my point with the cake song.
Soup back here right now with the Miatas, they're getting around quick. The real battle right now is Tom Rathje working on Gene Fittis. Good little battle by these two. Now, they've fallen back off the pace just a bit from the boys in front of them. But battling nonetheless, Rathje was just up on the bumper there of Fittis, and boy, it almost looked like contact. Fittis does a great job of getting through there without any contact, and now they've spread things out just a bit, but Rathje diving it in deep every time. And there's a nice big beach to the left there, not a great spot to dive it in too deep. He's able to do it pretty well and still keeps up pace there with Fittis.
They're a little bit farther back in that street tuner class. Of course, Tom Rathje, a veteran of both this Continental Endurance Series and the MX-5 World Tour, which I'm happy to announce will be back September 10th when both of these series go to Spa. Let's look at Rathje now with a run. Is he going to make a move on Fittis? He's going to try to duck it in. No, he's going to wait. The Bay State Hammer, Tom Rathje, waiting for a better spot, trying to pull up along Fittis. Fittis is kind of new to the party here. He's been around for a little while now. Came without much of a reputation, but it didn't take long for us to find out that Gene has pace.
Soup, here comes Sonny Kanchin on the inside of Stevenson, taking him down into turn one. Wow,
Kanchin
what a move.
moves up into second around Stevenson. I think Kanchin is starting to go a little bit of a...
Gives him a little bit of the business there.
Hello to the J-Lo there to Sonny Ketchen from James Stevenson, a pair of Aussie drivers. And of course, in my view, they're all neighbors. What do you got?
Amjed's off the track. Amjed Yaman is off in the grass, does a great job of saving the car. Doesn't really lose a lot of ground.
Yeah, Yaman has some damage on the front. Not sure where he picked that up. I don't think he picked it up. You know what? He picked it up on that incident. I'm looking at it right now as if the grass was too deep. When he got it into the sand. Oh, you know what? iRacing gave him the damage when he came off the sand and back onto the grass as if he was going over the lip. You know, if you can imagine like a sand trap on a golf course.
Yeah, and he pushed it in pretty good. That's going to definitely affect the aero on the car. But he's still keeping himself close there. He's still got a good battle going on with Hartley. Been chasing Hartley for several laps here. Kanchin, though, continues to just move his way up through the field. Question is, can he get to Deuce? Deuce is really on a great run right now. Got himself out there in front of Sonny by about 2.5 seconds.
Now, I'm looking to see who Yaman is teamed up with. It looks like nobody. Could Amjad be maybe soloing this today? I don't see any partners for that 49, the C car.
Yeah, I do believe he said this would be a solo effort today. I think that is the case.
Well, we talked about him not getting a lot of seat time and his skills beginning to erode, so maybe he's going to try to make it all up here in one 2.5-hour session, get back into the Amjad Yaman championship form that we know he is a former champion, and this is quite an accomplishment. I believe it was season 10 champion of the MX-5 World Tour. Here comes the pass, Sean. Looks like, maybe just Stevenson taking a peek.
Yeah, exactly. Taking a peek and ran out of room there before they got to the beach. Decided to back off. Certainly the better part of valor right there. Early days in this race. We've got a long way to go, Soup. Still over 2 hours to go.
Well, let's go back over Adam and see what's going on in the Mustangs. Looks like there's a 3-car battle up in front and then a couple stragglers farther behind.
Yeah, the 1, 2, and 3 have been able to stay, pretty consistent. They've been running almost identical lap times here. But the last couple of laps, Greg Parks has been able to kind of still let Travis Davis know that, hey, I'm still here. He's been able to take a few good looks. He's not going to be able to get a good look this time going to the keyhole. But I'm keeping an eye on this battle in case it heats up, and we'll see if it does. But right now, I really think Greg Parks is probably the faster car. I think he's just biding his time.
Now, if you're watching, you say, hey, this doesn't look very exciting. Well, let me tell you something. You want to stick around because it's maybe not the drivers who are out there right now. You want to see what happens after the driver swap. And I feel sorry for the Bush Fake Red team out there. Currently has Greg Parks driving right now. Greg Parks is going to turn that car over, I believe, to the other Greg. Let's make sure if Williams is actually scheduled to be his partner here, Dan. Yes, he is, as usual. So it's the Parks-Williams combination. I feel sorry for Greg Williams when the driver swaps come in because he's going to be teamed up racing against Todd Honzarenko, who is about as fast as they come. And then the other name that we talked about in the pre-race show, if you haven't seen this guy race, you've missed out. And that is Wyatt Gooden. He is fast in everything I've ever seen him drive. And I can't wait. You want to stick around to see this the Honzarenko-Gooden battle. It's going to be something else.
Yeah, these Mustangs are definitely going to be worth keeping an eye on it. And the guys that are in the cars right now are doing their jobs. I mean, they're keeping touch, with the front, not letting them get too far out. And so when they turn it over, these guys will be able to put on one whale of a show, I think.
And just to elaborate on that, Jeff Jacobs back there in the Extreme Motorsports 2, he's going to turn it over to Todd Honzarenko, currently running third right now. And then the car out in front, the Extreme Motorsports 1, now they're sister teams, but that doesn't mean they don't want the win. That's Travis Davis going to turn it over to Wyatt Gooden. Wyatt Gooden put on, I was going through some of the stuff at the, what is that convention called in Texas? Is iRacing?
iRace for Life.
iRace for Life, yeah. Wyatt Gooden put on a great demonstration of how to learn a track, how he learns a track, and stopping, and what he does to figure out each track when he gets there. Man, I learned a lot. It's basically you don't just go out and drive, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah, in that iRace for Life, by the way, if you ever have a chance to get out there, anybody, from what I understand, it's pretty cool. I haven't had a chance to yet. I'm hoping to next year. Dallas is about 6 hours away from me. But the videos are actually up on YouTube. I don't know exactly where they're at, but it's worth a watch, especially if you want to improve your road racing setup skills and driving skills. I mean, he does a really good talk on it.
All right, let's go over to Sean. Looks like Deuce Allen having a nice Saturday afternoon drive out there, but it's a little more dangerous behind him, huh, Sean?
Yeah, it is. Now he's getting away a little bit. Not much. I mean, it's still hanging at just about 3 to 3.5 seconds, but the 4-car battle right behind him, that's the one we got to talk about right now, led by Sonny Kanchan, James Stevenson just behind him, Robert Hartley, and Amjad Yaman. Amjad still trying to find a way to get around Hartley, but I think they've got to a point right now in this run. I think all 4 of them are happy to just keep their distance and get through these turns one lap at a time until they get to the pit stop. And the thing to watch in that pit stop is whether or not the 47 will actually take any damage repair at all or try and keep that car on the track. I've got to be honest, at this point, looks like Amjet's had pretty good pace despite the damage on the nose of that car. I'm thinking he might be able to ride this thing out at this point.
Well, we just got a report in, and it came from Adam. Was able to see. He took a peek at Amjet's car, and Adam, what'd you see?
No damage.
Yeah,
it's funny how iRacing works sometimes. It obviously a server somewhere picked up that maybe he crinkled the nose a little bit, but obviously everything else kind of didn't, so it kind of overwrote that. And well, Amjet is gifted with a clean nose again.
Obviously, they have simulated the Mid-Ohio racing ferries that sometimes come out and magically hammer down do a little work while you're racing, right, Sean?
Hey, you know what? There is a good percentage of racing that is luck. And if that's a little iRacing luck, then I'm sure Amjet will take it. As I was saying there, when I was still accusing him of having damage, that still seems to have pretty good pace. These three have not gotten away from him at all. And, honestly, Deuce doesn't have much to run from at this point. He's been able to keep the distance. He's just up there driving clean right now. The car looks good. And, he knows where he's at. And I think as long as he keeps 3.5 seconds on the guys, you start setting yourself up for where you want to be on track when it comes time to pit here in a little while.
Okay, the friends and families of we got a spin, and it's Ratche has spun the car. He was running just ahead of Fetus. Fetus has gone by him.
Yeah, and no contact there. Just off into the grass. Ratche able to get the car back around and back on track. But he loses.
Just going to talk about,
Well, I'm sorry, Soup, but those two had been battling, and Ratche just overdrives it just a little bit in what is probably one of the more challenging turns of this course there here at the end of the track.
And I was going to ask Sean. Sometimes with the Mazda, doesn't the back end kind of sometimes get a little squirrely under braking like that?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. It gets very light, as you would say, and then exactly. And on coming out of turn 11 there into the carousel, the car does exactly that because you're carrying a lot of speed and you're having to get under braking. And yes, the rear end does feel like it just picks right up off the ground.
And while we were talking about that, you saw on screen that our director caught James Stevenson worked that car around there in the Asbury Motorsports 426 machine, got around Sonny Ketch and his fellow Australian for all that it matters, because there's still, we still have 2 hours and 15 minutes to go, so it's just basically positioning themselves. And honestly, guys, I'm not sure if Hartley back there running in third, Sean, right now, and then Yaman back there, just saving fuel.
Well, we've certainly seen fuel be a strategy many, many times in this series, and especially in the Mazda and the MX-5s. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of that being played already. Of course, those two are teammates. But where are we going, Sue?
Let's go to Jerome Ursum now as our leader, Travis Davis. Go, what do you got?
Yeah, well, no, I'm sorry. That just as we were talking about that, Kanchip breaks to the outside of Stevenson and goes all the way back to the inside. Hartley on the outside, side by side.
Oh, my.
And through the keyhole.
Way too much excitement with 2 hours and 11 minutes to go.
That allows Stevenson to kind of open things up there. But you were going to go back to Jerome. What was that about him?
Well, because Jerome just got lapped here by our leading Mustang. Just got around. Travis Davis just put that car around him. And I wanted to go back. With 2.5 hours races and only 14 cars in the field, we should be able to cover back markers a little love. So let's watch Jerome right now as he's being passed now. Boy, he's trying to get that car out of the way. Greg Parks and no patience at all to get around Jerome. My goodness, Jerome, you can't make your car invisible. It has to take up some space on the track. Parks gets around him cleanly. Jeff Jacobs also gets around. So Jerome back there racing for Mama Jean Racing. Sorry, Mama Jean, that your beautiful paint scheme's not showing up. None of them are so far, but we'll see if we have a break, if we can figure out how we can maybe find those paint schemes, get them up for everybody. Yep. Now let's go up to Davis. Davis is beginning to pull away at him as he just made his way around Daniel Kruger. Wanted to be able to cover these back markers in the MX-5s. Instead of putting the camera on them when there's nothing to watch, we'll give these guys a little screen time as they have to negotiate their way away from the Mustangs that are coming up. So we'll stay on Kruger a little bit while these two, the second and third place drivers, try to put a lap on him, and that's Craig Parks and Jeff Jacobs.
Yeah, one thing to note though about Kruger and Ursum is, they may be back there, they may already be a lap down, but they've ran really clean races so far. And of course, in endurance racing, anything can happen. So they are worth keeping an eye on for sure. I mean, as long as they can keep the cars clean, who knows what can happen. But a few minutes ago, I had mentioned that Travis Davis, Greg Parks might have been the slightly faster car. And of course, as soon as I said that, Travis Davis kicked on the afterburners or something, started pulling away. But pretty good battle here between second and third between Greg Parks and Jeff Jacobs right now. I really think that we're starting to see the pace kind of set up between the Mustangs here. So, Jeff Jacobs is probably going to be looking for that pass here before too long.
Yeah, and probably Soup Zahn is probably not Jeff Jacobs' favorite announcer right now because I seem to give him such a hard time. But what Jacobs needed to do was not lose contact with that lead car up there of Travis Davis, because as he pulls away, he wants to give his partner the best chance of being able to catch Davis's car when they go to that driver swap. And of course, Davis is going to have Dwight Gooden coming in there. So,
Dwight Gooden retired from baseball, right? So
that's
did I do Dwight Gooden?
Yes,
Sorry.
we did. Yeah, now it's Wyatt Gooden, not to be confused with former Met star Dwight Gooden.
I think Darryl Strawberry is going to sub for somebody here today too.
I can make a joke, but
I didn't mean to leave him hanging. I didn't mean to leave him hanging with that one.
All right, my apologies to Wyatt Gooden. Thanks, five. Look, man, we are going have a nice dinner by the time this season's over. $5 from me.
Here we go. Stevenson Kanchin to the inside. Stevenson lets him go around.
Oh, not so quick.
Side-by-side action here. Oh,
look,
right
another tap.
Contact, yes. I believe Austin Powers will call that a bit of a "how's your father?"
Again, I just don't understand the aggression between those two guys. They're both going to turn the cars over.
Amjad, kind of cool as a cucumber back there. He is very steady. I think he's starting to come back to form here, Sue. Following and learning and getting comfortable again. Riding right on the tail of Hartley.
Now, what's interesting, let's talk about the Asbury Motorsports. The 426 car currently has James Stevenson in. Usually he's the anchor. He's teamed up with Richard Losper. Usually Losper starts off and then they turn the car over to Stevenson. No offense to Losper, who, to use his own terminology, is a serviceable driver, certainly, but not James Stevenson's pace or quality. I wonder if Stevenson's maybe his real-life schedule won't let him race, or if he's going to do a two-stinter today, open up, give it over to Losper, and then come back.
I didn't quite catch the strategy from those two, honestly. I practiced very little with them, but who knows? Maybe Richard's feeling it today. He's recovered and back up to full strength, and he very well may be willing to get in there and ride it out.
And we talk about gathering up the chickens. Robert Hartley is going to be turning the car over to Christopher Henn. That's going to be the second driver there. So, again, I think Hartley probably has the pace over Henn as well. So I wonder if we're not going to see Hartley open and then come back again. Remember, this is a two-stop race. So, in theory, you could run at the first stint, come in for the pit stop, do your driver change, and then go back to the original driver. Adam, probably with this small field, if there was ever going to be a race where we didn't have a live flag marshal, they probably could have got away with this one. I don't think we're going to see one today. But they do have one, though, and we'll see if that comes into play. What's going on with the Mustangs?
Not a whole lot, actually. I mean, just pretty much just people trying to run their own race. Greg Parks is still out in front of Jeff Jacobs for second and third right now, but they're still relatively close. I mean, they're within contact point of each other, and Jeff is just waiting for Greg just to slip just once, I think. I mean, he's just being patient back there. But meanwhile, I mean, you've got Travis Davis up front. I mean, he's running right now. Pretty good lap times. I mean, his lap times are in the 35 threes, 35.3, 35.4, and then he ripped off a 34.6 about 3 laps ago, which is the fastest lap of the race out of anybody so far. Meanwhile, those guys back him are running a couple tenths slower, so he's still just pulling away very steadily. Wyatt Gooden at this point, when he takes over the car, is probably going to have a pretty good lead to handle.
But there's always the fear of Hans Zareko getting in there. I'm trying to build up the drama for down the road here. Don't leave us yet, because things are going to really pick up here after the driver swap. And of course, GSRC is all about history and statistics. We believe that today's race sets a new record for the driver-announcer ratio, as we are under 5-1 with only 14 cars on the track and three announcers in the booth. That sets a new GSRC record.
Hey, just mark it down, put your notch in the cane. That's another one for GSRC. I'll tell you what, one thing I've really has struck my attention as I continue to watch this 4-car battle back here is the braking points. And, you know, they spread out, they get back together. It's just really funny. Everybody's been very, very consistent. I watched him go through the left-hander there in turn 1 just now, and I've got to be honest with you. Probably, it's a very, very fast left-hander, but you've got to be so careful down there, because you have the pit lane just to the left there. If you get over that yellow berm there, the pit lane exit, you'll get a slowdown penalty. Nobody has done that yet today, and every one of them have managed to, for now 17 laps, hit that just perfectly.
You can see just at the bottom of some of these Dougie Beard camera shots, or at the very top, depending if the cars are coming and going, you can see Deuce Allen way out in front. He now has a 6-second lead on these guys. Deuce Allen, of course, this is his home track. This is where he does a lot of racing. I think he races an MX-5, actually. I could be wrong on that. Maybe Deuce can, one of the family members or the fan clubs can tweet in to us and let us know if that is the case. But this is where he is familiar with real-time, real-world track time out here, and they're really showing it right now as he's up by, my goodness, almost 6 seconds on the guys behind him. But again, it's early days, and I'm not sure if those guys that are sitting back there, like Hartley and Amjad Yaman, they all start with the same amount of fuel, but that doesn't mean they're burning the same amount of fuel. And I'm not sure if those guys running back there at the back of that train, they're close to the caboose section, aren't using less fuel and will need less. You know, Sean, with 2.5-hour race, fuel consumption plays a bigger part in it than what you usually do in these little 45-minute sprint races that we're used to. You can save a lot of fuel if you try doing it for 2 hours and 40 minutes, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And certainly this little train of cars right here, I mean, Amjad and Hartley are in really good shape where they're at. They've done nothing but save fuel at this point. Amjad being at the end of that train has been the biggest benefactor. You know, honestly, that could be worth 2 more laps at the end of a run, and then you put yourself in position. I know we always talk about it. We like to try and create the drama of possibly one stopping a race, but you know, it can work out that way if you play it just right. Don't think they're going to be able to pull that off here today, but again, where you are on track at the point you decide to come in may pick you up a couple seconds, and if you've had pace with those guys and you can pick up a couple seconds in the pits, that gets you out in front of them and put you against. Oh, got a little trouble there. Stevenson. Yeah, Stevenson takes it wide. Hardly able to get by. Amjad Yaman now challenging Stevenson. Stevenson going to pull down in front of Yaman. But a big mistake by Stevenson there. Drives it a little too deep, gets offline, and allows Kanchan to get by.
I'll put
Kanchan
another
up to second.
I'll put another $1 in the jar there as it says saving fuel for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Well, obviously that would be kind of silly as the race is only 2 hours and 30 minutes. So those last 10 minutes of saving fuel, really kind of pointless. But the point is, over 2 hours, if you save it for 2 hours and 20 minutes, you could certainly maybe look at doing it. I don't know, Sean, they use the same amount of fuel in these cars no matter where they race. And depending on the track, how much, if we do a roval, these MX-5s burn up a lot of track. We've seen drivers, though, on certain tracks, as we look there at Hartley go a little bit wide. Some drivers come really, really close to one stopping it, especially if we get yellow flag laps.
Yeah, but I think we talked about it a few laps ago. I think the likelihood of that happening is very, very slim at this point. Slim to none, and I think Slim just left town.
Let's give a shout-out to Elliot Hoffman right now as the live flag marshal. Thanks, Elliot, for coming in. One of the things that makes this race special. Go ahead, John.
I am seeing Daniel Kruger in the pits. The number 98 Extreme Motorsports.
Yep, he is in. Let's see. It looks like I'll go back and see if he had any issues.
Yeah, it's making its way back out now.
I don't see him having any trouble. Looks like just a scheduled stop. Probably in the window. Stop now, and then probably go with one stop from here.
Playing it backwards a little bit, not a bad idea sometimes.
Which is what they like to do in this series. Because of the live marshal, there's always that chance that the yellow will come out. You say, what's he doing, right, Sean? But if the yellow comes out now and everybody decides they need to come and pit, well, he cycles to the front.
That's right, he does.
Although he's a lap down, so I guess it wouldn't matter. Yeah.
Well, he'd still pick up a lap, though. He sits two laps down right now. Now, Michael Key is his teammate, so we expect Mike to get in the car at some point, probably at that next pit stop. But they're good for a full run right now. You would think anyway after that stop.
And before we go back to the Mustangs, let's follow up on Jeroen Ursum. He's out there probably not going to finish the race running right now from the Netherlands. He doesn't have a partner today, and it's getting very, very late out there, but he likes to come out, put a showing in early. I like to tell the story about Jeroen when he banged up his car and the iRacing wouldn't fix it for him. He tried to bang up the other side, tried to fix it in the pits himself by banging the car together, see if he could get it to go straight. Didn't work, but it was a good effort.
Pulled a Sterling Marlin?
yeah, basically that's what he was doing, with the pit wall.
You know, Hartley doing a pretty good job back here holding Stevenson off right now. Stevenson been a little aggressive and, trying to make Hartley a little nervous, but Hartley not having any of it. He's actually keeping pace with Kanchan right now and having a decent drive. Hats off to Hartley. The 49 Motorsports B entry is it's got pretty good pace right now, Soup.
Now, I've got to ask real quick, and this is partly me not doing my homework, at least on one thing here, is with these cars, is there going to be a penalty for a driver change in the pits?
No, what they make them do, you're allowed to do the driver change. No penalty for that. I believe that they can get in and out without it being much of a problem if they do a fuel load. But what they do is they'll make Amjad Yaman. Go ahead, Sean.
Jeroen was off the course just in front of Sonny Kanchan. Really, really tricky moment there as Kanchan was getting out of...
a little contact up there between Robert Hartley and Stevenson.
Yeah. Jeroen did a good job of getting out of the way, though. Hats off to him for doing that, but that was a close moment there for Kanchan.
Just to follow up on that, I believe it does take a little bit longer to do a driver swap than it would normally. I don't think it takes as much time as the penalty, though, that they give to the drivers who are soloing it. Drivers who are soloing it today, like Amjad Yaman, will be forced to make a 30-second stop extra in the pits at least one time to simulate a driver swap. Therefore, the driver who solos it doesn't get an advantage. Does it really? Okay, well, there you go.
So, yeah.
Sorry, there's a director going over telling me the driver swap takes 30 seconds.
Right.
Director doing his best job to sound like Adam Young. Sorry.
Well, it's not the first time I've been accused of sounding like Jason.
You know, I got to be honest. I'm getting my voices right, but no, this 4-car battle is exciting to watch because as we get a little bit closer to the pit window, you do start to wonder: are they all going to come in together? Is everybody got a little bit different strategy? Are the teammates going to, are teammates coming in with? Is 49 Motorsports going to go in with 49 Motorsports? Is Asbury going to go in with Asbury? How's that going to play out here? So certainly interesting to watch. We do know this: Amjad is probably in the car to the end of the race. So haven't seen a teammate show up for him. I think that was the plan. He's certainly getting his work in today. Wheeling it pretty good and doing it with, yes, folks, again, if you're just getting back to us, without damage. That car is not damaged. The 47 MX-5 is still looking good and running pretty good. Hartley driving it deep there, just behind Kanchan. But again, these guys behaving real well. I haven't seen any incidents. A little bit of an off track from Amjad earlier, but he was able to get back up clean. And aside from that, our leader, John the Deuce Allen, putting on a pretty good show. He's opened it up to 8 seconds now, soon.
Yeah, well, let's follow up on something.
Oh, and just as I say that, Kanchan gets off track, able to gather it back up.
Just trying to get some screen time there. You know, we talk about does iRacing carry over into real-world racing, and does real-world racing apply anything? Does it help you at all in iRacing? Well, let's go ahead and look at this. Have you ever seen John Deuce Allen be as dominant as he has been today? This whole series has been about Sonny Ketchen. Everyone trying to stay with him, running with him. Look what John Deuce Allen is doing. Now, what could possibly be a reason why Deuce Allen is so good here today at Mid-Ohio? Could it possibly be that this is where he spends a lot of time real-world driving?
I think there might be something to that. And you know what? His teammate,
Hilly,
Justin Hilly, guess what? He runs here too, so
right.
In real life. So there may not be much fall off when that driver swap happens.
But honestly, we have been watching Deuce Allen run.
Oh, Stevenson making a move on Hartley, coming up the back straight, heading down into the beach. Hartley going to let him have it.
Yep. Hartley had just back there, just no hurry. Now, it's interesting, Yaman's still following all those guys. But just to follow up on my point, we've probably watched Deuce Allen. I personally have probably watched him race in 30 races, maybe at least. Never seen him as dominant as he is right now. So if you don't think the two things work hand in hand, real world and simulator racing, well, you explain this.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and it does absolutely correlate. There is no. I don't think it's a great mystery at all. Deuce drives this track like a man who absolutely knows it, and like I said, when Hilly gets in the car, I think you're going to see much of the same. Again, I don't think there'll be much fall off. And Allen is in. Now, will they make the driver swap this early? Will he get back in for that last stint? That is the big question.
Wait, the tires, he's taken tires. Now, one of the nice things about the MX-5 compared to the GT3 cars that we cover a lot of, the
Stevenson just took the position away from Kanchan down into the keyhole. Kanchan fighting back. Nope, he's going to step off in line. Maybe not. Ooh, he's getting right up on Stevenson.
I don't like what I'm seeing here, Adam and Sean. This doesn't make sense to me with over just under 2 hours to go.
And the way that Amjad is just hanging back there, and I know Amjad, he's a patient driver. I really think that he is just waiting for an opportunity. You know, like I know he has a little bit of a penalty now that he has to for since he's going solo. But I'm wondering if he's just waiting for clean track in front of him to really start the pace, and he's just preserving the car until then. I mean, these guys are racing really hard.
I picture Amjad right now probably having a sandwich. He's got like Stranger Things on Netflix on in the background. Maybe even has a book open or a magazine, reading an article, and yeah, just taking it easy right now. There's no reason to race at this point. Now things will heat up. Certainly after this next pit stop, but yeah, Amjad is having a nice cruise back there and saving a little bit of fuel, like we talked about before. And since that one off track has been extremely clean.
You know, that's really been just one mistake of the race, and it's like, you know, it's just he's had plenty of opportunities to try to do something. He's just hanging back there. And then Gene Fittis, by the way, it looked like he disconnected from the server, but he just got back in the race.
Yeah, he did, and he is now back out. The Progression Racing Australia back on track. Unfortunately, they are now 4 laps down, but they do run here at the back of the field, and good to see Gene back out on track.
Now, just to follow up on a few points there we were making, first of all, about the tires. The MX-5s, they allow you to take fuel and tires at the same time during the same pit stop compared to what the GT3s do. The GT1s, where you have to take fuel first, and after that's done, you can take tires. So that's not quite so costly. Let's also follow up. It looks like Deuce Allen stayed in the car. He did not come out, so he's going to run that second stint as well. And then finally, if we could take a quick picture, I know that some of our paint schemes are kind of strange, but are we seeing a GSRC scheme, at least on my monitor, for Sonny Kenshin? Is anyone catching the GRC on the hood? Is that what we're seeing on the screen
that's
as
right.
well?
The Asbury Motorsports car does have the GSRC on the hood and on the boot there as well. Or I'm sorry, on the bonnet. No, the boot is the hood. The bonnet is the trunk. That
almost seems like a conflict of interest here between us, as he's hard for us not to put a little extra screen time there for Sonny. So Allen is back out. Now we're going to see how long these STs stay out here, because it won't be long until Travis Davis catches up to them to lap them. Davis just going, where's he going? Through the keyhole right now, it looks like. So let's see where these guys are in relationship to there. There we go. Davis just going across the start-finish line right now.
Yeah, he is really setting the pace. I mean, he's still, you know, multiple tenths faster than Greg Parks, and Greg Parks has now been able to distance himself quite a bit away from Jeff Jacobs. So things kind of spreading out a little bit between all the Mustangs right now, but everybody's running clean. It's been a very clean race, and so we'll see what happens when some of the next drivers get in.
Yeah, I think the toss-up right now for the biggest incidents are Amjad running off and Jeroen Yearsum getting turned around there earlier, and I think that's about all we've seen, to be really honest.
Now I'm going to give you an interval. It's about 29 seconds from your leader in the ST class. That would be James Stevenson right now, back to Deuce Allen, who, remember, had about a 7-second lead before he came in and made that pit stop. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's 29 and change back from the leader back to, where would Allen be running? I guess in about 5th place in class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in class.
Now the only problem with this for Deuce is that, let's face it, he's not out in front fighting with the clean air anymore. He's back there in traffic. He's going to have, Fords getting around him and having to deal with some of the guys here towards the back of the MX-5 field. So, we got to keep an eye on that, and things are certainly not safe. The safest guy on the track right now is James Stevenson.
Let's go to Craig Parks right now, who just negotiated around Jeroen Yearsum. Nice job for Mama Jean Racing getting that car out of the way. Now he's coming up on the back of Tom Ratchey. Really, we should make a point of covering some of these passes. These are probably most of the passes we're going to see right now. Ratchey apparently did not see him, almost pulled in, almost closed the door on Parks like Queen Elsa at her coronation.
Yeah, and that's an important point to make, because our leader, Travis Davis, is he's not too far behind Amjad in that pack of 4 Mazdas. So he's going to have to try to pick his way through an ongoing battle here. And I would guess probably about 3 or 4 laps, I think he might be up there.
Yeah, we have a replay of Jeroen here. Had another off. There he's in that white and yellow machine. Able to keep the rear end off with the Armco.
I think that Armco helped straighten him out a little bit there.
You think? It might have, yeah. And he does a little left, right, left kind of on the wheel there. See what's he got under him? Looks good. Looks good, Jeroen.
I have made an interesting observation back here about what James Stevenson's been doing so far, holding off Sonny Kenshin. You watch him in the turns. Every time he gets into a turn, we can look maybe at the front of the car. He is lighting up those brake rotors every time. Kanchan just behind. You barely see any glow to those rotors at all. Stevenson definitely using a lot of brake here. You get a good shot of it there. But Kanchan using a lot of brake. Stevenson using a lot of brake here. Kanchan, not so much.
We're going to zoom in on Kanchan, see what the different racing lines are like here. If you're in look at this, and there goes Kanchan. Gets around as Stevenson just kind of surrenders the spot.
Yeah, but with that rotor lit up like it is, as much as it is on Stevenson's car, that means a lot of heat transferring to the tires, Sue. And Adam, you know what that does to these tires once that heat starts to really get up, especially here at the end of the run when the car is getting light, running out of fuel. Stevenson's just got to have a handful of wheel right now.
We're looking at it. We're looking at it now that the brake rotors aren't actually coming off there. It's almost as if the brake pedal is stuck on there a little bit at a small percentage, even when he's lifting off the brake.
Boy, and maybe I missed the obvious altogether. You know what? You guys are absolutely right, because I'm even on the rear one a little bit. If you look at the rear disc, there's a bit of a glow to it also.
Well, the good news is that's something that may go away with the driver swap. Because, it's the same car, it will not be the same hardware, so hopefully Richard Losper will not have that same issue. Now, if you're in Vegas and the betting window is still open, see if you can get in there and put some money down on Amjad Yaman. They'll probably get you pretty good odds. Watch for this guy sitting back there, just learning the track, getting comfortable behind the wheel again. He is a former champion of the MX-5 World Tour. He's run with all these guys, and he's had the better of many of these guys. So don't give up what Amjad is going to be doing here.
He's just back there laying in the weeds, waiting to attack, waiting for the mothership to come down and give him their blessing to make his move towards the front.
Just to give an update on the back marker here for the Mazdas, Sean, Gene Fittis pulled into the pits. He's got a really high ping right now, so I'm wondering if maybe he's either waiting for it to calm down or if he might be calling it a day, but he's out of the car.
Yeah, he's suffered through that for many, many laps now, and the connection, as you said, unfortunately not been very consistent for Gene, and that has him in again, and tough break for those guys today. That was their only entry today, and Gene looks like the team going to have to sit the rest of this one out, and unless that connection gets any better, they can still get back out here and get some points, but they find themselves many laps down now, but still a lot of time left to go. Just under an hour and 45 minutes left here in the race.
And maybe just to follow up on my idea to make a little money on Amjad Yaman, maybe place that bet to place, not to win, because I had forgotten about what's going on back there with John Deuce Allen. I gave you that time a little earlier when they came out of the pits. It was about 29 seconds. Well, John is back there now. It's down to 26 seconds. So he's gained 3 seconds on the leader up there of this pack we've been watching, Sonny Ketchen, or whoever it is, whoever up there at front is a Ketchen or Stevenson, whoever decides to be the leader at the time. That team is moving.
Yeah, and right now it looks like Travis Davis, him and Amjad are really almost, Travis Davis is almost on the back bumper of Amjad, and he might be by the end of this lap.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm not. See, Hartley and Yaman and Yaman are not going to be that excited about possibly losing touch with the two guys in front of them. So Davis may not get the same kind of polite attitude that he might expect, because this has to be done quickly. They might want to make Davis wait here until they can do it without losing any time. What they don't want to do is lose it and have Davis separate, and then by the time Davis gets around the other guys, they've lost touch with the two leaders.
Ooh, and it looked like Kanchan kind of got a little bit loose there, kind of bunched up that little group. So that's something else that Davis is going to have to watch out for if that happens again and bunches him up right in front of him.
Well, it looks like Davis might catch him here on the back straight as they come out of the keyhole. That would probably be the best spot for him to make his move and get past all four of them. looks like he's probably going to get an opportunity to do it. All right, he's calling on Jed now, telling him he's going to the inside.
Nicely done, and that actually worked out fine for Amjad. He did not have to lose too much time there. Gave the inside. Now let's see what Davis can do as he works on Hartley.
Davis got a little loose there coming out of the keyhole.
Just casually talking. While we're passing each other.
Travis Davis gives, "Hey, Robert Hartley, glad to see you." And now he goes around Stevenson. Doesn't give Stevenson the same verbal hello that he gave the other two drivers. 1 to go.
But you see how Stevenson had to really get out of it there, not to get into the back of him. That's the difference in the ability of these cars to turn under braking in these turns.
And the little Miatas are maybe not the equal. They're close to the equal through that little twisty section though with the Mustangs. Where the Mustangs have the biggest advantage is when they get the power down. But yeah,
you can, with the Mustang, one of the big differences is the rear suspension. It's not an independent rear suspension, so it's really difficult to get through those as Davis looks on Canchon but can't get through. So that I think that's what really helps the Mazdas get through. The lap times between these cars, it's only a couple seconds difference. So, and Davis should be able to make the move here on the front stretch pretty cleanly.
Well, and there you can see. Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, we noticed that in practice that the difference between the Mustang and the MX-5 was only about 2.5 to 3 seconds. In some cases, 3.5 seconds, but not much at all.
And so much of that is straight line speed, not so much through the twisty section. So now let's see if that little break, I don't think it was going to be enough to let Ketchen get away. He's got, just under a second back to Stevenson. I think Stevenson is going to be able to run him down pretty easy.
Canchon took it a little bit wide there coming out of the keyhole.
One last point to make here about the difference in lap times between the two cars. Here we are, getting close to just over 50 minutes into this race, and we just now saw the second place in the Mazdas lapped. So there you go. I mean, these Mazdas are not going to be very many laps down behind the Mustangs by the end of this thing.
Guys, I see Matthew Catila getting in the pits there. Mika Eshouse just got into the team Busch Fink Racing blue car.
All right, now we start to see where you get the true feel of things. Also, if you go to 10th position in the ST, I guess it's 10th overall, actually, you can see that John Deuce Allen has got around Tom Ratchey. Now, keep in mind, Ratchey has yet to make his pit stop.
That's right, yeah, Ratchey's still out there, and the Asbury Motorsports 75 is now going to fall a lap down to Deuce as he gets around him.
So we look at the car number 32. That's Extreme Motorsports 2. That was driven by Jeff Jacobs. They've come in to make their pit stop. This is in the Mustang, and Todd Hanzarenko has now come in.
Oh boy.
So the big boys are coming in here now. We'll see if Hanzarenko, if he gets a whole hour and 36 minutes, that's a lot of time for that guy to show what he can do.
I was just looking at James Stevenson just a minute ago, and I noticed he actually has quite a bit of damage on his right front fender. I went back and found it on lap 32. He brushed the Armco a little bit, so we're going to have to see if maybe he hit it hard enough to affect the steering, but I haven't seen him fall off too much on lap times just yet.
Well, maybe that's what's causing that brake to hang up on the car. That could be part of the problem too.
I'm wondering maybe if more of that was the cause of maybe him getting into the Armco a little bit, though, more than the symptom, because we were noting the brake problems before he brushed the wall there. But it definitely would make sense of maybe that being the cause of him getting into the wall just a touch.
Before we were talking about where Deuce was on the track and his teammate Hilly going to be getting in the car, and the fact that they race on this track in real life. This is an open setup. The setup on the Mazda, how much of real life racing translates to that? They probably hold a few secrets in the jacket there, if you know what I mean, about this track and how they set these cars up. That certainly can lend a lot to the pace that they're throwing down right now.
Okay, gonna set you a little marker here now. Hans Zareko is out there in the number 32 machine for Extreme Motorsports. He is out ahead of the Team Bushfink blue car, banned by Mika Eschhaus. Now, these guys, both teams have their top driver in there. That interval, we'll keep an eye on it. That interval is about 16 seconds from Hans Zarenko back to Eschhaus. Hour and 35 to go. We'll see who has the pace. And, of course, we're still waiting to see Wyatt Gooden.
The leaders in the ST class just got around Drew Newsom. He moves out of the way for him, lets them all get by going down the back straight. Nice clean pass for everybody. Those four still stay in contact with each other.
I'm a big fan of looking at lap times and putting together patterns and stuff like this, and looking at Travis's lap times. He hasn't fallen off hardly at all since the beginning of this race. I mean, very consistent laps, almost all of them in the 135s, unless he had to pass a car at some point. I mean, he is just setting the course for the field, and I bet if we were to go look at John Deuce Allen's lap times, I bet we find much of the same. And
right,
yeah, I mean, just very, very consistent drivers, and you could definitely see it with John Deuce Allen's lap times and the consistency behind him. That's that real world driving aspect, I think, that we were talking about earlier in his experience here.
As we look at John Deuce Allen, let's go ahead and put the camera on Travis Davis real quick. I'm going to give you a bogey time. It's about 55 seconds. Now, we're going to skip over the team in second place right now, Extreme Motorsports 2. 55 seconds back to Hans Zarenko in the Extreme Motorsports 2 team. Now, remember, Davis has got to come in, and that's where he's going to come in and probably, we would assume, turn over to Wyatt Gooden. So 55 seconds, boy, that's an awful long time. I can't imagine they're not going to be able to come in and get what they need to get done and a driver change and still come out in the lead.
That's one of those things that do you even want to? I mean, Wyatt, yeah, it's going to be the we all know Wyatt's fast, but Travis is kind of in a mode today. Do you leave him in for that second stint and not give up that time right away?
Boy, those four cars, Sean, that we've been watching back where you are, still nose to tail, catching on. Here we go, Stevenson looking to make a little move. My goodness, they are awfully close for what they need to do. It
might as well be a chain race, Suit. They might as well just have chains on the car. They've just following each other around and keeping it clean. It's been real fun to watch because it takes a lot of consistency here. You've really got to be in a groove, and if you're one of the cars that's kind of in the middle there, like a Stevenson or a Hartley, it's a little tougher when you've got somebody behind you and you're feeling that pressure in your mirror to be consistent. It's a little bit tougher to be consistent for someone like Amjad back there who is just following, content with that.
Yep.
A little bit easier for him. He's got nobody in his mirror, and he can just focus on driving. So, there's a lot going on right there. But again, the consistency of all four of them throughout the first 36 laps of this race has been very impressive.
Well, let me correct you a little bit as we see this low-angle shot that our director has on about Amjad having nobody in his mirror, because he's got a big, rumbling American muscle car coming up back behind him. Here he comes, Adam, and we're finally going to see now Craig Park work his way through these four guys.
Yeah, Greg Parks, these guys are just as close as when Travis Davis went through, so Greg Parks would be wise just to kind of, try to pick him up on straightaways. Of course, the next best opportunity for him is going to be the front straightaway coming up here in just a minute. But it looks like he might not be that patient. He's going to make a move on Amjad now. Amjad, he's going to be Amjad. Ooh, that was a little bit closer than it should have been.
Yeah, it really was. That surprised me that what Yaman did. I don't know why Amjad was so defensive, so aggressive there. I guess he didn't want to lose. Maybe he didn't see him.
That, or, it's also just not a really good place to even let people by.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was about to say. That's a really, really tough spot. Even right there in turn one, they're side by side coming out of turn one. A very, very, Amjad really...
I don't think they were happy with each other right there.
No,
I think it's both of them.
But look what, and remember, they're on two different agendas. You have Parks saying, I got to try to have good laps to stay in there, and then you have Yaman saying, I got to stay with the guys in front of me.
Noticed a little bit of white smoke happening behind. Juran Ursum just spun her around on the outside of one. But obviously we're going to be paying attention to Greg Parks up here for a minute. He's back going straight.
Yeah, see, but look at what happened to Yaman there with that nonsense that was going on between him and Parks. Ooh! And boy, almost gets into the back of Stevenson.
And Parks, Hartley there, side by side with him through the turn, coming through the China Beach section, into the S's here. This is not any fun at all. Fun to watch, but not fun to drive in. My word.
It's like, Parks has to realize right now, too, that these cars through this section of the track, they are almost even. I mean, it's better just to wait and not damage the car and not ruin your race and anybody else's, too. Just show a little patience. It'll be okay.
Well, you just said it, and anybody else's. These four cars are fighting for position right now. This is a battle. Amjad able to pick it back up and get back to Hartley.
Yeah, but again, look at Hartley now has lost touch with the two guys in front of him.
Well, I have a feeling.
Yeah, I think dittoing that comment that Adam just made would be Parks' partner Craig Williams saying, Parks, just give me a clean car. Let's not bang it up against any of these little Miatas. But look how this is broken up now.
I mean, but we also know that Stevenson probably isn't going to be he's probably not even going to be nearly as nice as what the other two were. Right. But this isn't going to be a better passing opportunity, too, with the straightaway.
Yeah, now he catches him at the perfect spot here on the straight. He's going to get by both of them easily. So that's really going to hurt Yaman and Hartley.
Yeah,
they've totally lost the draft now.
And this is something too where it's like for Amjad, I think the thing to do for him might be Parks kind of slows up there a little bit right in front of Kanchan, backs him up. But Amjad might not be a bad idea. I really feel like he's just been lagging back there, just biding his time. I think he needs to get around Hartley now and try to set the pace now and try to gain some time.
And I think that might be another reason why Yaman was so against the idea of Parks making that move where he was. Let's wait until we can do it easier so we don't end up in this situation.
Travis Davis is coming into the pits. Our leader is in.
Now let's see if they do the driver swap. We'll see if we get, I believe Wyatt Gooden is from Texas. Let's see if the Texas driver gets in there. And while this is going on, maybe we can
swapping.
There we
Wyatt's
go.
In the car.
We'll see where Hans Zarenko is right now. Running in third, but he's the guy really on the same pit cycle. Got a ways to go.
Michael Key just came out of the pits, guys. That Extreme Motorsports 3 machine, the ST class, he went in for his second stop.
Okay. Gooden is rolling now. This could be close. It'll take a while for Gooden to get that car up to speed. Hans Zarenko is coming. It looks like Gooden's going to get out in front by an interval of about 6 seconds.
I'm looking at the lap times, and I see why they went ahead and did the driver change. Todd Huzenko is running lap times 33s and 34s, which is almost a full second and a half, sometimes even 2 seconds faster than what Travis Davis was. So now we get to see what Wyatt Gooden's able to do if he can open up that gap again.
And Hans Zarenko with about a 21-second lead back to...
Sonny Kanchan off the track, right in front of James Stevenson. As they were heading out of the S's into turn 9. Wow, Kanchan loses a lot of time.
Yeah, the car just got loose and he corrected. He's going to lose those 2 positions to Hartley and Yaman.
It almost looked like it was that left rear just went off the edge of the curbing just ever so slightly, and that was all she wrote.
He had to lock him up just a little bit. Yeah, that cost him a lot of time. All right, Craig Parks is in.
All right, so we'll be watching for a driver change here.
This is from the lead, although I'm not sure he actually crossed. There's he get the lead lap lead right there. There are points for leading a lap. It's going to lead that lap from pit lane. So now we'll follow the rest of the cars around. Travis Davis is going to come around and inherit the lead. But my goodness, I'm sorry, it's not Travis Davis, it's Wyatt Gooden.
And Parks has relinquished the car to Williams. And Williams is already on the gas. He's like saying, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let me go, coach. Let me in the game.
So Gooden around, Hanzarenko around. We're seeing if Williams is going to get rolling here pretty soon. Looking for S-House. Just coming around the final corner right now. Williams still sitting. I don't think he's going to get out of time. I think S-House is going to inherit this spot.
Williams is out and headed toward the keyhole here. And
there we go.
Yeah, S-House is a pretty good distance in front of him here.
I was a little bit behind there looking back at the catching incident. Now I'm back up to speed. So S-House out in front in third. Craig Williams has that team Bushfink Racing red in fourth.
So that means $5 for you. So that makes us all even now, right?
Yeah, I think that one's a $5.
Boy, we still have an hour and 24 minutes to go.
I've been to the bank.
You know, it did put James Stevenson up to the front. Now, Hartley and Amjad are still back there, but they've closed things up just a little bit, and we have approached that window. I got to imagine they're going to be coming in any time here. Besides Tom Rathje, they're the only Mazdas that have not come in yet, and I would expect that the window is closing.
And Herzenko getting on the back here of John Deuce Allen as they go into the keyhole.
Now remember, Allen is going to inherit the lead. He's already made his pit stop, so we expect him to take over the lead here once these four other Miatas come in.
Obviously on a much, much different strategy than everybody else. He came in quite a while ago.
Yeah, just to tell you how long Deuce has been out there, he's on a 17-lap stint right now. So he came in early, kind of back markering it all the way back, which is really the smart thing to do if you can have full course cautions out there.
Well, and the pace they've had ensures them position on the track, to be really honest with you. He's going to hand that car over to Hilly, and, again, where they're at on the track, with their strategy, they should be in great shape.
And we'll go ahead. Of course, I have hailed the wonder, the splendor, the glory that is Wyatt Gooden. But don't underestimate what Hanzarenko can do. Todd Hanzarenko back there. My timing and scoring won't give me a time right now between those two drivers. Looks like it's about 6.5 seconds. So let's go ahead. We'll keep an eye on that, see what Hanzarenko can do.
That's what I'm seeing, Soup. It's about 6.5 seconds, exactly.
And we got Hanzarenko had the fastest lap that time. A 33.7, that's what Adam was talking about. You almost wish that they could have made that driver swap a little earlier.
Yeah.
That's about 0.4 faster than what Gooden is running.
Yeah, but ever since he ran that lap, his lap times have kind of fallen off to more like the 34.2s, 34.5s. I see a 34.6 in there for his last lap. Meanwhile, Wyatt, on his first 2 laps out, was almost a 34 flat and a 34.1. So we'll see what happens once Wyatt settles in, probably about another 3 or 4 laps into his run. But it's almost like Todd set that one really fast lap. It's might have fallen off just a little bit in comparison to Wyatt. So definitely worth keeping an eye on.
And Hanzarenko had to negotiate around Michael Key and Deuce Allen there. They were running real close together, so he had a couple MX-5s to get around. That may have slowed him down a little bit. We will watch and see, as we still have about an hour and 20 to go. We'll stay with you. We won't go to break until these MX-5s finally decide to come in and make their stop, which Sean should be fairly soon.
Yeah, and as I see Wyatt Gooding starting to come up on the top 4 in the ST class, I begin to wonder, are they going to get around for a stop before he gets by him? what is that going to do to the field? Amjad Yaman starting to lose touch. And back there, Sonny Kanchan, who'd made that mistake before, starting to catch Yaman, but Hartley and Stevenson able to break away right now, and they're down the back straight into China Beach now. And Amjad just getting there as they've already made their way down through the turn. Good battle and still going on, though. And like I said, with Wyatt Gooden catching up to these guys, you begin to wonder, does an urgency to come into the pits now or fight with Gooden as he gets by? What's going to be more important here? We'll see. They're coming around to the last turn now.
Yeah, we'll kind of watch that interval from Hartley to Yaman as well. It'll give us an indication what Yaman really has, what kind of cards he's holding. If he's able to run down Hartley, that would be a good indication that he's just been sitting back there. And I think he's actually doing a pretty good job of maybe catching back up.
Last couple laps, though, he's actually lost ground to Hartley, and they do decide to stay out another lap. And it does look like Wyatt Gooden has caught he's caught Sonny Kanchan back there and going to catch them down here, probably yet to head down into the keyhole.
Now this will be interesting. Gooden doing a good job at him of picking him up and putting him down. He's got that gap up to 7 seconds. Remember last time we talked about it was 6.5 seconds. But now Wyatt's got some work to do as he gets around Sonny.
Yeah, that was a very clean pass, though. I mean, it caught him in just the absolute perfect spot here. I don't know if he's going to be able to get to Amjad before we hit into the beach, but well, maybe he might just get there. But even then, if he doesn't get around Amjad before watching it, there we are. Okay. Ooh, of course, we're all nervous right now about that. But that ended up being another good clean pass. But even then, it backs up Amjad just a little bit back to Kanchan. Amjad just not having the kind of pace I think he was earlier, or at least the kind of pace I was thinking he might have.
Gooden, of course, with real-world driving experience as well. In fact, very successful in some of the lower ranks that he was racing in. Doing very good. Of course, it's always hard to keep that career going as he looks for funding to continue on up the ladder. But I asked him, I kind of flipped the question in one interview on him, how much his real-world racing affects his iRacing, what he could learn, carry over the other direction. Go ahead.
Sorry, Soup Hartley just dove in the pits right behind our leader. So Stevenson going to stay out. The rest of them stay out as well. Wyatt Gooden now gets by, and all he has in front of him is our leader, James Stevenson, in the Asbury Motorsports 426, heading down onto the keyhole.
We'll follow up on that story a little bit later, Vin Scully style. Right now, let's go ahead and keep an eye on the car that came into the pits. And it's, would we say was in there? Was, I thought you said, it was Yaman, or Sonny Kanchan? Yeah, let's go ahead. We have a replay of Amjad Yaman having some fun.
Yeah, Amjad having a little bit of trouble again. The car has seemed to fall off just a bit here, deeper into the run. Oh, that was Sonny Kanchan actually behind him that actually got off.
Little did you know that MX-5 Mazdas also double as all-terrain vehicles. I think that's the third or fourth time we've seen somebody go off like that, put all four wheels off, spend a good amount of time in the grass, and not lose too terribly much time to the car in front of them.
All right, guys. Now the car, the 49 Motorsports B machine that Hartley was in, Christopher Henn is in the seat. He is back out on track, heading down into turn 2, the keyhole. They have completed their first pit stop. Driver swap included. Stevenson making his way in now. But that leaves his competitors still on the track. Amjad Yaman stays on. Sonny Kanchan stays on. Tom Rathje's still sitting back there without a pit stop. He's just slugging along, Sue.
Yeah, we're going to run it on fumes all the way to the end. So I guess what that does now, that's put Yaman down in front, but we're going to see if we can pick up Deuce Allen, because he should be ready to inherit the lead here.
While Hanzarenko just had to get around Yaman and Kanchan down to the keyhole. It was very, very close.
Richard Losper got in the car for James Stevenson, by the way.
Okay, Ratche has come in. So we look now. Now my time of scoring is a little bit backed up here, but I'm still showing Deuce Allen running.
We got a...
Is Yaman the last one?
Yeah, Yaman and Kanchan are still on the track, so Allen still clawing his way up the ladder. But as soon as they come in, he will take over the lead of this race.
We got a decent battle here shaping up between the Busch Fink cars. Looks like Icehouse is kind of falling back into the clutches of Williams. Williams almost was able to get around him going into the keyhole just a minute ago, and Icehouse, Mika gets a little bit loose there, gets that back end out. Sometimes that happens when you put down the power in the Mustangs. The back end just really wants to step out, but should be worth watching here for a minute.
Amjad Yaman saving fuel all the way, stays on the track. Sonny Kanchan in. Amjad Yaman going to stay out for one more lap.
Sideways. Micah sideways.
Yes, indeed. We get a replay of that one, I think. Well, maybe let's stay live here for a second because we're about to see a pass. Craig Williams looking for a way around Williams. Not going to happen yet as these teammates probably going to take it easy on each other. Oh, Adam, I thought Mika was going to lose
Tokyo drifting there. It's probably about as sideways as you dare get one of these cars without actually going all the way around.
We'll watch the replay. And Sean, as we're watching the replay, what were you saying there? We had a pit stop from...
Yeah, Kanchan was in. Szabo is in the car.
Okay.
Yes, Szabo is in the car, getting ready to come out now.
As is so often the case here on these events, it's nice and peaceful, and then everything breaks out all at once. So your leader right now is still Amjad Yaman. We talked about him sitting back there behind all those guys. Clearly he was getting the best fuel. Kanchan is in the pits right now. Deuce Allen has gone around Kanchan.
How much did he save?
Second.
Oh, just off in front of Yaman. Tom Rathje spun off the track just in front of him. Yaman able to get by clean. Going into the carousel now. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going to keep it out one more lap. He's in the window.
I don't think he... My goodness, he's...
Yes, he is. He's in the window. We've only got an hour and 12 left. I honestly think he could do this one stop.
And he's going to go around, yeah. Amjad should know better as he spent many times in the director chair begging for the pit cycle to complete so that everyone can go to break. And right now we're all in that same position. Amjad, we're going to owe you one here, making us stay in our chairs here for a little bit longer.
Well, think about it. It might not be a bad idea for him to try it for one stop because doesn't he have to serve a penalty at some point for trying to drive solo?
Yeah, we'll probably have a longer stop coming in. But some of these other cars are probably pretty close to doing that also. Christopher Hand, too. These guys could all be in the window. Zabel was only one lap ago. They might be in the window to one stop it.
Oh, boy, I don't know. Well, here's the problem, though. These guys were able to save fuel in the first half of this race. They are all spread out now. You don't have any help. You got to run out there as fast as you can. I mean, you can soft shoe it a little bit, but if you got to make up ground, you're going to be hard on it, and you're going to use a lot of fuel. But Amjad keeping it out 2 laps longer right now. Now finds himself going down into Thunder Valley, and got to wonder here, does he have one more lap in that car?
Our director had us on the battle there for third for a second there between the two teammates. Honestly, I think if we were to watch that for the next 40 minutes or so, I think that's how they're going to run for a while, S-House and Williams. I don't think there's going to be a lot of aggressive racing going on between those two. Right. Now we look at Amjad Yaman. Yeah. Now he finally brings it in.
He's in.
So poor Deuce Allen. Deuce Allen clearly on a 2-stop strategy. Has he shot himself in the foot having to make that second stop? He's clearly got the pace over everybody, but will it be enough to get the win? Always some drama here at the Continental Endurance Sports Car Challenge. Yaman in right now. He will stay in the car. He's going to take tires. How long will this pit stop be? Will he have to stay in there for a penalty?
Now, Allen just got by him, and Allen is down into the keyhole now. Coming to the end of the straight, making the right-hander through the carousel here. He's got traffic coming up behind him really quick. S-House and Williams slugging it out.
So the next one's coming by. Here comes 49 Motorsports, the P car, Christopher Henn. It looks like he's going to get the pass made on Yaman.
Williams trying to make a move on his teammate on the outside here, going into the beach.
A lot of action. We look at that side by side. We'll stay on that battle between the Mustangs. That's for position. And I'll vocally call the other one. Yaman coming out of the pits just ahead of the other drivers.
Of Richard Losper. Yes, Richard Losper and Thomas Szabo.
If they didn't touch there on that right-hander after the beach, I don't think you could have stuck a piece of paper between them then.
Well, you know what? We talked about the drafting help and needing to save a little fuel. Guess what? 3 cars have found their way back to each other again here, Sue.
Yep, let's go ahead and look at 8th overall, Amjad Yaman. Now, this is the first time we've seen him ahead of Stevenson and Katcha, but we're really not surprised by that because we thought he was sitting back there just taking it easy. Sure enough, he had the shorter pit stop between the 3 of them. He's out in front. Now, that means Yaman is, although my time in scoring, I believe he's currently, we're going to call him running second, as Deuce Allen is your leader. And he's going to be way out in front here. If I can get a timing,
yeah, but about 43 seconds.
Just a note about Deuce Allen here. He's going to be right in between the battle between Williams and Micah here for a minute.
So let's stay on this right now. Oh my goodness, boy, they are close. Just giving the announcer a little bit of blood pressure problems there. They did have worked out. Allen in that 49 machine. Now remember, what was that interval I just heard? Because my timing and scoring from Allen back?
It was about 49, about 42 and a half seconds.
Okay, because remember, we're assuming, we know for certain that Deuce Allen has to make another pit stop. We don't know if those other guys do. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens. All right, boys and girls.
I think Micah missed a shift there, and his engine note sounded funny for a minute, and Williams was able to pull right back alongside him.
In fact, S-House now takes it over. S-House running back in 3rd position. Yeah, our director is saying that I think these guys figure they're not going to get up to 1st and 2nd. We might as well have a little fun racing here. We'll stay on this a little bit. We're about to go to break. We'll see if this thing settles down, and we don't need to go to break right when there's this battle. So we'll put our bladders on hold for a minute and follow this battle here.
Hey, listen, Wyatt Gooden has found his way now, caught up to this battle up here in the ST class, and he is catching him quick. He's just about to Szabo. Szabo fighting hard right now with Richard Losper. Amjad Yaman actually opening it up just a little bit, starting to find his stride. We talked about him really, taking it easy in that first stint, and I think he's well within the window to finish this race without having to come back in. I believe he took, based on the length of his pit stop, guys, I think he took that 30-second penalty while he was in.
Yeah.
Because I'm showing he had a 51.45. That's time in the pit, so I think that's add the 30 there.
So here goes Gooden around Losper and Szabo.
Szabo right up on the bumper of Losper. Whoa! Losper swings it out a little bit wide. Szabo was right up on him. Losper still has position on the inside, but he lets him go. Szabo able to get around, heading through the carousel here in the keyhole.
Sean, he took advantage of the line that Losper wasn't able to take because of the Mustang going through. It kind of changed Losper's racing line, and Szabo was able to duck it in underneath, make that pass. But look what Yaman is doing. We thought about him maybe keeping his cars close to the vest. Look what he's up to now as he starts to pull away.
I believe I heard someone earlier call him a pedestrian or something like that. I don't remember the exact comment, but might have been a fellow driver in this series.
I'm pretty sure it was a fellow driver in this series.
Was the word pedestrian that he used?
I think pedestrian. I think Average was in there.
Maybe.
I must not have been in that conversation.
No, you missed it.
I would have stepped up to correct that one.
It was all in good fun, I'm sure. I'm quite positive it was all in good fun. Zabo was able to get around Losper, guys.
Amjad Yaman has a great job of handling the fame that comes with winning the MX5 World Tour. It has not gone to his head. He's managed to fend off the groupies and still remain the humble boy that we've all come to know and love.
Yeah, just totally honest moment here. Amjad's probably one of about 3 people that I probably credit the most for helping me out, in learning how to road race and everything else. So he's definitely humble about it, and willing to help other people. So that's pretty cool.
Wyatt Gooden having a little bit of good fortune again, catching Christopher Henn here on the back straight. Able to get around clean.
As we closing in on the 1 hour to go mark, about 4 minutes to go. Maybe we'll run down the top 5 in each class here before we go to break. Out in front, Wyatt Gooden. And what we thought would be a challenge from Hans Zarenko has not really materialized, as Gooden has been able to put in some good lap times. Hans Zarenko running in second for Extreme Motorsports 2, well out in front of the 2 teammates that are just kind of having fun now together. That's Mika Eschhaus for Bushfink Blue and Craig Williams for Bushfink Red. And then the final car, still on the lead lap. Last car in class, though. Russell Ruddock now out in the machine for Flying Tortoise Motorsports. Sean, what do your first top 5 look like over at ST?
All right, let's do it here real quick. Deuce is still in the lead. John Allen, 49 Motorsports A. 49 Motorsports B, Christopher Henn in second. 49 Motorsports 3. 49 Motorsports C, rounding out the top 3. They are dominating right now. And then it goes back to Asbury Motorsports. Thomas Zavo in 4th. Richard Losper holding down 5th. Let's just round it out here. The cars left on track. Rathje sitting in 6th. And Michael Key still in this race in 7th.
And you got to appreciate the organization of 49 Motorsports, where not only do they have their cars running 1, 2, 3, but they have them in alphabetical order, A, B, C as well. That's nicely done. We appreciate that. What we're going to do right now is take a real short break. We'll ask the cooperations of the drivers to not do anything exciting. And we are, getting the news, we are taking a 5-minute break, or we're going to break in 5 minutes, as I do not know my terminology yet. We are, Director? We're going to take a 5-minute break. Okay. We're going to take that break right now. So this is Global Sim Racing Channel, and we'll be back in 5 times 60, 300 seconds. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing channel's coverage of the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series. This is round 8 from Mid-Ohio, and we've got an interesting battle ahead of us in the ST class as well as in the GS class. First of all, Sean, let's go ahead and update everybody what went on here during break. Deuce came in and took his final stop and turned the car over.
He did. He turned it over to Justin Hilly, and Hilly is back out on track. Now, something we straightened out while we were away at break, okay? There is no 30-second rule. That was last year. That was last year's rule, and it's gone, okay? Now, what we do know is there is no pit requirement. Car receives half the points against the team championship, and the driver receives full points against the driver's championship. So again, there is no pit requirement. Amjad Yaman is good. We believe, most of us anyway, that he can finish the race on track as he is now without having to come in. Interesting thing is he's catching Christopher Henn a little bit at a time. That gap just under 3 seconds right now.
So Deuce Allen has made the stop, and he turned it over to Hilly. Now, he came out in 5th, but since we've come on the air even, he's gotten around the car of Richard Losper. So now he's up to 4th. Now, just to follow up a little bit before we talk about the Mustangs, just to follow up a little bit on Yaman. My concern is Yaman was able to go past the halfway mark, but he was able to do that because he sat back and saved fuel for the first half of the race following Katchen and Stevenson up there in front, and even Hartley, who was up there. Now he's got his work cut out for him. Now he's got a race. I wonder how fast he can go and still have enough fuel. We don't think Deuce Allen's going to have any problems. He's the only guy that's going to two-stop it. We think he can go full speed as soon as he took enough. So it's going to be very exciting. Right now, your leader is Christopher Henn in the 49 Motorsports B car because Deuce Allen had to come in the 49 Motorsports A car and surrender that. Now, Adam, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in the GS class.
Yeah, the Mustangs right now, Wyatt Gooden is setting the pace. I mean, every single lap since Wyatt Gooden took over the car from Travis Davis has been in the 1 minute 34 second range. There is not a single 35-second lap in there. It is all in the 134s. But in the meantime, we've been watching how Todd Hanzeko is doing, and his lap times have varied a little bit. But before we went to break, his lap times, his deficit was down to about 8 seconds. He was able to get about 3/10 of that back very gradually. But the problem is that now that's gone back up a little bit to 7.9 seconds, and there's probably not enough time yet if he's only gaining a tenth or so at a time. In the meantime, the Bushfink blue and red cars, that battle is it kind of calmed down a little bit, but they're still within reach of each other between Icehouse and Williams. They're still running identical lap times, and occasionally Williams will be able to take a look. And then behind them, the Flying Tortoise Motorsports vehicle at Russell Ruddock running in 5th is just kind of running a very stable, very patient race, not really forcing the issue anywhere.
And Adam uses that term battle very, very loosely there. I'm not sure how much of battle there really is going on between those two teammates. It's reached right now with 52 seconds left to go. Wyatt Gooden out in front. 7.8 second lead over Hans Zareko. I've seen Hans Zareko do some amazing things, run down some drivers, but he's never had to run down the likes of Wyatt Gooden before. And just to follow up on a story I was talking about, Hans Zareko, Wyatt Gooden, I asked him about real-world racing, how it affects his sim racing. He says, what I have to do in sim racing is leave a lot more room, something you wouldn't think would be the case. But he says, in real-world racing, you're very confident about where you are on the track, how much distance you have. In sim world racing, I have to leave a little extra because I'm never sure about netcode. Something that everyone should learn about when they complain about netcode. We all know it exists. Don't complain about ghost contact. If you decide to put your car an inch away from your competitor, there's a good chance you're going to have problems. Sean,
So,
what's going on with 49?
I got to butt in here, buddy, because Justin Hilly has caught Thomas Szabo as they head up the front straight across the line. Hilly now going to maybe try to peek to the inside as they head down into turn 1. Hilly has been turning in 137s every lap. He is a full second faster than the rest of the cars in his field. And he is coming strong. Looking to the inside, heading down to the keyhole. He's going to get that position from Szabo. Ooh, those two almost make contact. Oh, that was close.
Probably not the worst thing to happen to the Hungarian driver here. He can tuck in behind Hilly, follow him around the track because Hilly's going somewhere, and Zabel can kind of hold on. Next up for Hilly is Amjad Yaman. Remember, we talked about real-world experience again. Hilly also, this is his home track. Remember, he was sharing the ride with Deuce Allen. Both these drivers have spent time on this actual tarmac out there where they can actually touch it, taste it if they wish to. Justin Hilly now up into, what would that be, fourth position, I guess, over third position overall
yeah,
now.
He's up to third. He's got himself on the podium again, and that really, he is just driving it right now. Again, turning in much better laps than his competitors. And it's not a matter of if right now for Amjad Yaman, it's when he catches him. Amjad starting to lose touch with Hen. Hen really giving it a good drive up there. Last lap was a 138, almost flat. So really pushing that 49 Motorsports B Mazda today. Hen having a really good drive.
And let's go ahead and give you some interval times and also who was in the car before. Now, Hen out there for 49 Motorsports B, originally driven earlier by Robert Hartley, so Hen has taken over. That interval is 3 seconds back to Amjad Yaman, who is good to go. There'll be no penalty for him or anything. He's in fine position. He's made his, well, he didn't make a driver swap because he's soloing it today, but he's good to go. But add another 3 seconds back then, and then you get back to Justin Hilly, the guy on the move. Remember, he teamed up with John Deuce Allen. Hilly now trying to run down Yaman. It's about 6 seconds to the lead. About halfway that way would be to Amjad Yaman. And then behind him, holding on to that fourth position, Thomas Zabel, then the last car, 5 back. Richard Losper, who has lost touch. And again, we talked about that before with the interesting order there that they put Stevenson in first with Losper second. Stevenson, I believe, probably has a little better pace than Losper, but not sure about the real-world responsibilities that force them to do that in that order.
Icehouse and Williams back side by side, heading into the beach again. The last time this happened, Williams and Micah almost made contact as they went through the second part of the corner there, the right-hander. This time, though, not going to have that happen as Williams backs off.
What happened is I backtracked a little bit as S-House got a little bit loose as they went down the straight. That gave Williams a chance to get the run. But again, they just don't force the issue. S-House had the preferred position. And yes, if you're looking at it, you don't have to worry about going to the optometrist. You're not seeing double. Those guys are identical machines. S-House, the car in front. Williams, the car behind. Williams driving the 74. S-House in the single-digit number 6.
And Williams peeling off, heading to pit road.
So that breaks up that battle, but the interesting one, when he comes out and S-House decides to come in, we'll follow, see how that works out. Oh my goodness, Sean. I gave you that interval back a second ago from Yaman back to Hilly. It was 3 seconds. Well, now it's down to 2.2. Hilly is a coming.
Yes, he is. And Hilly still turning in 137s every lap. It is very, very consistent, especially when all your competitors are running 138s. You can definitely see every lap how much ground he is making up. And there's still plenty of time to catch the leader. Nothing is certain here. Hilly definitely driving, again, like his teammate, a driver who has a lot of experience at this track. Those two have just been just a cut above everybody else. Easy to say that they were pretty well prepared coming here soon.
And something that you would, I don't know if I've ever said before, and I've covered a lot of races with this driver in as well, Thomas Zabel, is Hilly pulling away from Zabel. That's in a track like this where the draft where you can hang close. I've never seen Zabel have trouble keeping pace. Hilly now has that up to over a second. We're going to go on board a full lap with Hilly and see exactly. You can listen to that engine, listen to his shift points, and you can see up the little speck in front. That's the doctor, Amjad Yaman.
And while we're watching that, just so everybody knows, S-House just came in the pits, so did Russell Reddick.
No, our director asked, I thought it was the professor. No, that was taken by somebody in Formula One. So Joe Peak has dubbed Amjad Yaman the doctor of pit topology. Okay, as we ride on board now, S-House is pulled out. Maybe we have to go away from this for a second. We're going to see if S-House can get out ahead of his teammate.
He's out in front of Williams, but he's also got Wyatt Gooden between him and his teammate now. So once it kind of depends if how well Gooden's able to get around him. If maybe he'll fall back into the clutches of Williams.
So we're going to finish up this lap here with Justin Hilly. And then we'll take a look at these Mustangs. Boy, you can see here, we talked when we started this thing, I said that speck way up in the head, that's Amjad Yaman. Well, that speck is now turned into a blot. It's much closer than it was when we started. And as we talked about that, Gooden gets around S-House. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, I'm looking at the lap times, and just I was about to say, Amjad Yaman actually still turning in some really good lap times. Justin Hilly goes and burns down a 1:37.5, a whole 0.7 of a second faster than Yaman. As you see them get down into the keyhole, the gap closes even more now, and Amjad's not going to make it easy to get by. Now it is a teammate. That is a couple of 49 Motorsports car. I don't know how exactly close the racing will get, but it's going to be fun when they hook up here in just probably a couple of laps, Sue.
And right now we're looking at that Mustang battle. Now there's the two teammates of S-House and Craig Williams back there. Ahead of them is it says Hans Zarenko on there, but that's I see. Okay, there we go. Second. That's I believe that was the leader. I thought it was Wyatt Gooden. Do I have that wrong?
Wyatt Gooden's still in front. Right in front of S-House now as they head into the keyhole.
There we go. That's Gooden in the. It says Hans Zarenko on there. I think that's a mistake. So there's the 6 car of S-House. Now just above him is Wyatt Gooden. That's the Extreme Motorsports 1. So our graphic is mistaken there. Oh, no, it isn't. Of course it's not. Okay, that is second place is Hans Zarenko. He's not on screen. The car ahead is Wyatt Gooden. He's a lap ahead. That's why he's not showing up. I got it now. I've been doing this for a while. Okay.
Those interesting. Those Busch Fink racing cars being on, fresher tires and everything else right now. I mean, there isn't really a whole lot of fall off with these cars, but apparently there's enough because Wyatt Gooden cannot get away at this point between that and the draft.
Okay, we're probably going to have to break away from this, go over to Sean and set the stage here. Christopher Henn, remember that lead was about 3 seconds over Yaman? Well, it's down to 2.5 now, so Yaman is closing on him. That's the good news. The bad news for the Dr. Pitts topology is what, Sean?
It's about 1 second back to Justin Hilly, even less than that now, as they just got through China Beach. Hilly really on a torrid pace right now, starting to catch Amjad through the S's, and they'll make their way to Thunder Valley. I expect them to look to make up just a little bit more ground on him. But this is going to be a great race when these two get together. I expect it's going to probably be this next lap coming up, somewhere probably going down to the keyhole. We'll see how much distance Hilly can make up here as they head down into the last turn, the carousel here. Ground certainly to be made up. And boy, Hilly really picks up a lot on Amjad there. Again, I don't think Amjad's going to make this easy. Let's see if these boys are just going to have a little bit of fun. On board with Hilly here.
And we talked about it in the pre-race show, the battle between 49 Motorsports and Asbury Motorsports, kind of the Hatfields and McCoys, the Penske, Ganassi, however you want to look at it. Well, today it's 49 Motorsports 1, 2, 3, Asbury Motorsports 4, 5, 6. So getting the better of it today at Mid-Ohio has been the 49 team. And poor Sonny Ketchen has got to be sitting back there saying, Thomas Zabel, remember Ketchen and Zabel, they've been untouchable all season long. And Ketchen wasn't really as fast as we had seen, and Zabel's certainly not as dominant as usual. 49 team, man, they are on the money today.
Yes, they are, and Amjad has been caught, and Hilly is all over him right now. They just got out of China Beach. Now they're going through the S's.
Well, if
Again,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm going to say it. I don't expect Amjad to make this easy. There'll be no pulling. There'll be no pulling over.
Yeah, Amjad is a team player, but he's not out there to lose. He's quietly competitive. He will surprise you with his tenacity. Noted for, though, he won a championship in the MX5 World Tour without actually getting a win. He did it on consistency, consistent top 5 finishes. He knows how to bring the car home. Let's see what he does now. What type of line?
They're catching hen. They are definitely catching hen now for sure. Nice line by Amjad, heading down there into turn 1. Keeps it solid on the exit.
The cone trying to tag along, but couldn't hold on. Amjad's going too fast.
Yeah, it does. Go ahead, Sue.
I'm not sure about how much fuel they can use up. Remember, Amjad trying to one-stop this, so we're not sure how aggressive he can really race. Here it comes. Hilly ducks to the inside. I think this is pretty much going to be a done deal, Sean. Honestly, Amjad probably not that unhappy to sit behind Hilly and maybe get a tow around here. He knows that Hilly has the pace. Yeah, he can sit back there and just be pulled around, and then if he can hang with him, make the move at the end.
Well, we keep talking about the time. There's just now under 40 minutes to go. There's still plenty of time to get this done. Hen does not have the pace he once did. Still turning in some great laps, but these boys are starting to catch him.
And again, we're assuming that all the other cars can one-stop this as well. We're not sure if that's the case. Yaman went a couple laps farther than everybody else, so there's a real possibility that these 249 Motorsport, well, not Amjad, but the other 49 Motorsports will have to come in.
Yeah.
And maybe Thomas Zabel might have a splash and go as well. Let's quickly jump to the leader again here in the Mustangs. Adam, what you talked about, maybe the new tires, whatever, but Gooden not able to pull away from S-House at all.
He's not at all. I mean, they're running nearly identical lap times right now. Williams is kind of dropping back just a touch from the pack, but I mean, he hasn't lost touch by any means. So the thing I'm worried about is when Wyatt comes into pit here in a little while. I mean, if you got Mika S-House right up them, that could lead to a problem unless there's some sort of communication that goes on. And Wyatt's known to be careful, so I think that there shouldn't be a problem, but at least something to watch out for. Usually, he hasn't had to run close to anybody all day long.
Now, we should point out that the driver that Gooden was trying to get away from, Todd Honzarenko, he has brought that car into the pits. So Honzarenko's still running in second position, but he's made his final pit stop. The bogey time is about 42 seconds back from Gooden to Honzarenko. So also, if tires mean anything, and if Honzarenko took tires, he's out there with a fresh pair. Maybe he can make up a little time that way.
Yeah, his last lap, he ripped off another 33.698. And the lap before that was the fastest lap of the race out of anybody at a 33.682. He is very, very fast on new tires, but I think his fall off is a little bit worse than Wyatt.
Right.
And given the gap that they had beforehand, when he came in, I still think it was upwards of about 8 or 9 seconds. So he's not. I don't think Wyatt's worried still about losing too much time to him, despite Todd's really good lap times right out of the gate.
Sean, give me a yell. I need to go over to you, but just to follow up on what we're talking about, it's 41.
It won't be long.
Okay. Honzarenko now is starting to chop off that lead. It's down to 41. It'll be interesting here when Gooden comes in. Let's go over and see what's going on now in that ST, because I think it's all going to come together pretty quick.
It is. Christopher Henn heads down into China Beach. Hilly right behind him. He has caught him. All it took was getting down the back straight into China Beach, and Hilly has now found his way to the back of Christopher Henn. Amjad Yaman right there still in the picture. He's lost nothing at all. In fact, he's enjoyed the benefit of that tow from Justin Hilly.
Now, I wonder how much, one of the things we talked about, I wonder how much Dexter Castro's not here today. I wonder if there's anybody doing a little traffic control right now, trying to organize this between these teammates. Of course, Dexter Castro is the founder of 49 Motorsports. And here's the pass. There it is. 1, 2, as Hilly overshoots the apex. I'm sorry, Henn overshoots the apex, surrenders both of those positions.
It's that old Billy Joel tune, 1, 2, 3, 4, pressure.
Almost like Henn was running on ice there for a while.
Yeah.
Well, Hilly really stepped
Oh, here comes Yaman. Yaman gonna look to the inside, maybe. Oh, he's right on him.
I'm telling you,
backs off.
Amjad does not want this lead right now. He does not want it. He wants to sit back behind as much as he can. Save fuel, I believe.
We've got a race. We have got a race on our hands. Hilly's good. He doesn't need to stop. I don't think Amjad's going to need to stop. Now, Henn is sitting back there, and I think Henn's probably going to have to stop. I don't know if they can do it.
And again, third position, Sean, for Henn might be better for him than running up front.
True. Let's see how much he can save.
And keep in mind now, we talk about Hilly not needing a stop, but we've seen this happen more than a handful of times, where the guy who comes in, he's taking that extra pit stop, he gets worried, he wants to get out there. We're assuming that team that's leading right now, 49 Motorsports A, took enough fuel. But sometimes, when you're doing that extra stop, you make it as short as you can, they may have problems as well. Just because you've taken 2 stops doesn't mean you took enough fuel on the last time you were in.
That's right. Amjad
look at that.
Right in the mirror of Hilly. Right in the mirror.
Car number 49 out in front, car number 47 behind them, and then car number 049. Clearly you get the theme of the 49 Motorsports.
Just thinking about it, Wyatt's now stayed out long enough in the leader in the Mustangs that he might need to go ahead and start thinking about pitting, because he is really starting to losing a lot of time now to Todd. So I think that it's definitely a consideration, because Todd flipped off. I mean, he might have gained 3 or 4 seconds back on that lead that he had.
Of course, like you said, any time that Gooden loses now is time he's going to make up when Hans Reiko's tires are old. We know that his tires don't work so well as he's run. But before we left to go talk to Sean, we left you the gap was 42.5 seconds back to Hans Reiko from Gooden. Well, now it's under 39 seconds, about 38.5 seconds. So there's 4 seconds just from the little bit of time we covered over on the ST class that Hans Reiko has been able to chop off on Gooden. Yeah, I kind of think it's like yacht racing, where the one guy tacks, the lead yacht has to tack to keep the same racing line. I think Gooden needs to come in here pretty soon.
I think it would be the smart play right now, and not only that, it gets him away from the two Bushfink cars behind him. Because if Wyatt's not known for making mistakes, but say if he steps out just a little bit sideways in a corner, and he wants to have room to collect it. And right now, he really doesn't have that. And he wants to play it safe as leader. I just think it's a smart thing to do to come in sooner rather than later.
Remember, what you're looking at right there is your leader, Wyatt Gooden. Then you're looking at cars running 3rd and 4th, S-House and Williams. Those guys are a lap down. The car that's not in the picture that we're worried about closing the gap is the car of Todd Hansarenko for Extreme Motorsports 2, car number 32. He is out there hot lapping on some new Dr. Feelgoods, and I'm worried now that this gap is getting down to 38 seconds. I'm not sure that Gooden's going to be able to come in, do what he needs to get done, and still come out in the lead, although he'll come out with fresher rubber, that's for certain. Sean, let's go check back with you.
Yeah.
Hilly not able to get away, huh?
Oh, Christopher Henn's kind of starting to lose the toe on these boys. Hilly and Amjad, I'll tell you what, Amjad's driving. I don't know how much fuel he's actually saving right now. He's driving really hard to keep up with Justin Hilly. At times it looks like Hilly might try to get away, and then Amjad back on the hammer manages to close it back up, but they are definitely starting to get some separation on Christopher Henn. It looks like it very well may come to a battle of these two here, right down to the final lap.
And I was watching him just a minute ago. I noticed he had some damage on his front, and on lap 71, he grazed the Armco just a little bit, a lot like how James Stevenson did earlier in the race, and then immediately after that put all four wheels off and lost quite a bit of time.
That certainly could be affecting the handling on the car as well. You know, that could be a good factor. I just checked that damage myself, and it's wrinkled up pretty good. You never know. It could be that wheel could be pointing a little funny. Could be off camber or off toe just a bit.
For those of you scoring at home, or even if you're watching alone, let me give you some important intervals. The interval from Gooden back to Honzarenko is now under 38 seconds, 37.8. Mark that down. Here's another interval to keep an eye on. We're going to give you the time from Christopher Henn, 5.7 seconds, back to Thomas Szabo. So we'll see if Szabo is able to run down Henn. We're not sure if Henn's going to have to stop again, but he certainly doesn't look like he's able to stay with the guys in front. So 5.7 right now, Henn to Szabo for that final podium spot. And Adam, I got to ask, what is Wyatt Gooden waiting for? Bring that car in now, unless he feels that with 30 minutes to go, he's going to make it up in the final 10 minutes. But man,
I don't know. I really don't. I have no explanation whatsoever as to why he's still out there.
Because he is losing time by the bushels full. It's down to 30. It's under 37 seconds now.
You know, if you think about the distance between them when they first came back, Todd first came into the pits, the gap was only about 7 to 8 seconds. Right. He's already lost all of that, so they're gonna. If he was to pit right now, they might come out nose to tail.
Yeah, I don't think Gooden's actually going to be able to hold the lead now. I don't think he can do it as they work their way around. That's Richard Losberg getting that MX-5 out of the way. Nice job, Richard. But look at, I honestly think that Gooden is almost holding up those teammates behind him there as he stays out one more time.
It's like I almost wonder, like, does he just figure that, that first place is already lost? I'm going to do my best to hold on to second. The best way to do that is to hold him off.
If Travis Davis or the friends and family of Travis Davis are listening, Wyatt Gooden, come on in and talk to us real quick. We'd like to see what's going on. What's the thinking here? So if you know Travis Davis, send out an APB and get him into the TeamSpeak booth there for GSRC. Find out what this strategy is.
So, Sue, Adam, you know who started turning his fastest laps of the race finally?
I don't know. Who would that be?
That would be Amjad Yaman. I think he might have something for Hilly here in the end. We're going to see. We're going to put that real-world experience up against someone who's got quite a bit of experience himself. We are going to have a great finish here in the ST class. I can almost guarantee it. I think there is about a 99.8% chance of certainty that something really great is going to unfold here before this race is over.
So what you're saying is he finally put down the book and maybe finished the sandwich?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe focus is starting to hone in just a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, if you want to really get an insight into Amjad Yaman's personality, a nicer guy you would not want to meet. But the aw shucks, I don't know. I'm kind of lost my groove, and as our leader comes in, I don't know if I can race anymore. And then all of a sudden he comes out here and now he's racing for the win. Okay, Gooden is in. Let's go ahead and pick up Todd Honzarenko and see if he's going to... Oh, he's just working through the final corner right now.
Gooden had a long trip down pit road there, all the way down to that top box.
Here we go. Nope, I'm sorry. Now we pick up Honzarenko. I called it a little bit earlier. He's got a little ways to go before he gets to the main straight. Now working around that final corner, going past pit entry right now. Gooden Now he's rolling. Gooden is one. It looks like he's going to get. Oh, it's going to be close. Gooden's going to get that car. If he can get the momentum up, these Mustangs get up to speed pretty quick, a little faster than the MX-5s that I'm used to calling. He's out in front.
There's the strategy. He didn't take tires.
Oh, I don't like this strategy. This is not. Okay, the interval, boys and girls.
Think about it, though.
6.3.
Todd was ripping off some pretty good laps. I mean, there's no denying that. He was ripping off some great laps. Wyatt was all of a sudden a little bit slower. It's like he started pacing himself a little bit in front of the guys. Was he starting to save those tires so he had something left?
So we say not a good idea, and maybe, and we talked about this before, do the tires, I wish we had a Mustang expert who could, again, if you've been driving out there, come in and let us know. I'd like to know if these tires continue to wear, or if they kind of settle down, that they find their spot after they're worn, they don't lose much more after that. Gooden may feel that Hans Zarenko, he's burned up his tires, and their tires are on they're the same quality right now. We'll keep an eye on it. It's about to be under 6 seconds here. As soon as I'm going to wait to call it officially. Yep, there it is, under 6, 5.9 with 25 seconds to go. Again, if you're in Vegas and the window is open, I like Hans Zarenko for your win here today.
Well, I just thought about something funny. During that first stint for Amjad Yaman, he had messaged me and said that since he was driving solo, he'd be willing to be an in-race reporter. And as I know, he has a lot of experience in the Mustang as well. We could ring him up right now and see if...
I don't think he had that in mind when he was in a battle with 24 minutes left with Justin Hilling. Excuse me, I'm just... Yeah, we're hearing from our director. Yeah, he is. Talk about flicking the switch, and the director was talking about, that's of course our director, Jason Pop-Fleischlich, talking about the intensity of Amjad Yaman when he's racing. There's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde between the nice guy that we work with here at GSRC and the driver.
You know what, though? I'll tell you what, we've had a really, really good race here in the ST field today, and a lot of cars still in the lead lap. Let me run those down for you real quick. Justin Hilly, of course, right now still holding off Amjad Yaman. Then we get back to Christopher Henn, and Tomas Sabo is sitting back there in fourth place, starting to gain just a little bit of ground on Henn. Henn's got to be careful here. Now, Sabo is a hot shoe. He could catch him here in these last, just under 25 minutes of this race, and maybe even be a podium finish for Asbury Motorsports. So we'll see. Now, Losper back there holding down fifth, and Rathje in sixth, and Michael Key, the last of the cars on pace here in seventh place.
And Adam, before we run down the Mustangs, let's go ahead and talk about that interval.
Yeah.
Remember when we last left, it was just got under 6 seconds. I was waiting. Well, now it's almost 0.7 of a second less on that, huh?
Yeah, that last lap, Todd was a half second faster than what Wyatt was able to put down. So we'll have to see if things balance out. I mean, 5.4 second interval at the line, that's not small potatoes. And as you know, in racing, catching somebody is one thing, passing them is another. What I think we've got right now, I think we're going to have a great battle, first and second for the Mustangs. Still for third and fourth between the Mustangs also, even though it's teammates, they'll still race each other hard at the end of the race. But also, of course, with the Mazdas, we got a great race brewing. So, things are really going great here at the end of this race. Of course, we're looking at Wyatt Gooden leading the field right now. Todd Zarenko about 5.4 seconds behind him. About 1:06 behind Wyatt is the Bushfink Racing cars hold on one second. Micah and Craig Williams, they are still running nose to tail. And Russell Ruddick, all 5 of the Mustangs are still on the lead lap, with Russell right now 1:22 behind Wyatt Gooden, your leader.
And that interval now from Gooden to Hans Zarenko is 4.6 seconds. He's coming, and he's coming fast. What Hans Zarenko is going to have to try to do is milk the rooster. The hard part starts after you catch it. And so that's what Gooden's going to do out there, try to get that car out in front of Hans Zarenko and hold back Gooden's going to try to hold back the driver who was on the move. Meanwhile, back over with you. Hilly able to do nothing with Amjad Yaman. Amjad just sitting back there, biding his time, right, Sean?
Yeah, he's Amjed's watching Hilly. He's learning. He's really being patient right now. Again, he's watching every turn here, looking for that setup move here in the last couple laps of the race. Amjad is again, we talked about the intelligence of the driver. Again, every lap he learns just a little bit more, and not letting him get away. Right, they went across the stripe there. They both practically had identical times. Only a tenth of a second separated them. Again, just a great race we're going to have here up front. Those two now, unfortunately, Hen still, only a second now separates him from Szabo. That's the battle we need to watch, because that's a podium battle right there, and Szabo setting himself up to maybe catch him. Got a little ways to go. Got some Mustang help in front of him, so we'll see.
Yeah, we've talked about the 49 Motorsports team a lot. Let's go ahead and look at some of the also rans today. It's not often I get to say that about AMS. Let's go to Osbury Motorsports car number 74. That's Thomas Szabo. We just saw him. The two Mustangs got around him of Bushfink red and blue. So Szabo running in 4th position. Then you go back to Richard Losper running back there in 5th for Asbury Motorsports. That's the 426 car. Now the 74 car is their top choice. That's their A car. The 426 is the B car. And then you get back to the 75 machine. That's driven now. Tom Ratche has gotten back in that machine. If I'm correct, if my notes are right, did he? No, I guess he's soloing it today.
Yeah, he's soloing, exactly. Okay. Yeah, Ratche. In fact, Ratche, another driver that is looking at possibly one-stopping this race. I think he's going to be good to make it to the finish. He's only had one, and I don't think he's going to need to come in.
Then we might as well run out the rest of the field, go back to Michael Key, who just got those darn Mustangs getting around everybody of S-House and Williams. Key gets out of the way. That's the last car running on the track. Retirements from the Mama Jean Racing Team's car. That's Jeroen Ursum. It's bedtime for him. And Progressive Racing, Gene Fittis had connection problems. So, boy, that's everybody. Easy to do when you got 2 cars out in a 14-car field and 3 announcers in the booth.
Yeah, and that lead, by the way, for Wyatt and between Wyatt and Todd continues to just shrink. Now under 4 seconds. We'll see what Wyatt's speed is here at the line. His lap times last couple laps been consistently right around 1 minute 35, almost flat. And Todd was able to run a 1:34.69, so that's another couple of tenths off that time. We're now at a 3.645 second lead.
Hans Areco racing 2 items here. He's got to try to race the car of Wyatt Gooden, and he's also got to try to race the clock, which is now just about to click under 18 minutes. Going to be touching in 17 minutes here pretty soon, so he's got to get there. He is coming in a hurry, but he doesn't have a lot of time to get there. As they said on Smokey and the Bandit, long way to go and a short time to get there. And as he had to work his way, as Hans Areco had to work his way around that lapped car, that was Richard Losper there, that really kind of hurt his corner exit, and that didn't pick up a lot of room that time. Can't afford to have too many of those.
No, you really can't. You're really going to have to hope that the lap traffic just kind of gets out of your way right now. And that goes for Wyatt just as much as it does Todd. Because, I mean, Todd doesn't want to get held up just as much as Wyatt doesn't right now. So, you know, lap traffic could very well play a role in this thing as we get closer to the end. Next car that they could be coming up on, is look at Michael Key coming into the pits, might be the Mustang of Russell. With the Mustangs being, well, Mustangs, you know, that might not be as easy of a pass.
Sean, let's go back over to you. I want to say a little bit of, what's going on there with Amjad?
Actually, well, now hang on. Before I go to Amjad, Michael Key just came up the track. Daniel Kruger getting in the car for the Extreme Motorsports 3 machine. Amjad Yaman had started to lose pace on Justin Hilly just a bit. As sure as I'm getting ready to talk about that, he starts to pick it back up just a little bit again. So Amjad is still in the hunt. Hilly, though, Hilly's starting to look pretty strong and pretty consistent. Amjad cannot afford too many mistakes here with now just a little over 15 minutes to go.
We're here for 2.5 hours. I'm going to be very upset with these drivers if both the passes for the lead happen at the same time. If they could kind of coordinate that so we can cover them both here on the Global Sim Racing channel, I would appreciate it.
At the line, Wyatt Gooden ran his best lap of this stint so far at a 134.716. But even despite that bad corner exit, Todd ran a 34.3. That lead is now down to 3.2 seconds.
Yeah.
He is gaining on him and will catch him by the end of the race at this rate.
Maybe we can go on board with Hans Zarenko, and you can actually see he can see Wyatt up ahead of him now. You can see there in that Dougie Beard camera. There we go. We go through this twisty section. Not going to be able to see it here, but when it straightens out, Hans Zarenko right there he is. As they work down the main straight. A little easier to catch somebody when you can see them in front of them.
2.5 seconds at the line.
With 15 minutes to go. Meanwhile, Yaman doing everything he can to try to stick with Hilly.
Now, here is the interesting thing about that battle. As it stays intense, you've got S-House and Williams right behind them. Those two battling for position, coming up on two more cars that are battling for position. With now 15 minutes left in this race, this is going to get interesting and probably a little bit of fun.
Starting as Hilly now beginning to distance himself. So we have one lead, as I say that, Yaman does a good job of closing up. Meanwhile, I think the excitement is going to be on those Mustangs as we continue to look now. We ride on with Greg Williams here. These two Mustangs, as they're looking to get around, they're going to be coming up on our ST leaders. 2.1 second, 2 seconds almost now back from Gooden back to Hans Zarenko. They work the back half of the track called Madness. Little known fact that
Losper's off.
As Losper has been the Ohio Players, a band from the 70s, a funk band from the 70s. Little known fact that they actually, their hit song, Funky Worm, was based on the back half of Mid-Ohio Racetrack. A little known fact. For those of you out there, go ahead and Google Ohio Players.
Yeah, it was a great little funk and R&B band from the 70s.
Do not get confused. This is important. Do not get confused and Google Ohio Express, because then you will come across Yummy, Yummy, Yummy. I Had Love in My Tummy, one of the worst songs ever written. If you haven't heard it, I beg you, please avoid listening at all costs. Sad to say I was alive when that song was out. Okay, back to the race at hand. My goodness, Gooden. 1.8. I stumbled across Yummy 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 while researching trivia because I thought I would have to fill a lot during this event. Not the case, though, today.
Oh, S-House almost makes contact with Amjad Yaman.
We think there was contact. The director says he heard it. Yeah, look at this. Are we trying? That's no place to make a pass there, guys.
A 3 wide pass at that. I mean, Williams definitely used Amjad as a pick, and then S-House was going to force the issue. 3 wide through there. Man, that's amazing they all got out of it. I mean, even with the slight contact there.
Boy, and that really cost Amjad a lot. Boy, he lost a lot of time there to Justin Hilly. Now they got to get around to Hilly now too. Oh,
by the way,
that, right side by side going through the keyhole.
Stay on that battle, but just so you know, the leader, the gap between first and second is now down to just under 2 seconds, 1.251.
Yeah. Because we're getting real close here. We got the battle. We'll stay on this battle. We're looking at Williams. Yaman's got to hope that same maneuver that they pulled on him, they'll try now with the leaders. They work around here, and it is going to be interesting.
Hilly going to keep it side by side. He's got the position on the inside. Not going to give it up to him.
Williams gets a little bit loose, dives it in. This is going to slow Hilly down as he's going to miss that apex. That's one apex that he has to miss, and now he has his other Mustang to go around.
Yeah,
this is good for Yaman.
Ooh, and Hilly tried to pinch him down there and then had to get out of his line.
Okay, the gap back to Yaman is 2.6 seconds from Hilly, though. He's got some work to do. That gap is growing. Let's go up to the one that really matters here. Wyatt Gooden. Let's stay up here now with 11 minutes to go. Our apologies to the rest of the field. We're going to put most of our attention up here, Adam, on this one. Wyatt Gooden going to need to make that car as wide as a Julia Roberts smile to hold back Todd Honzarenko.
Yeah, Honzarenko is there. All it's going to take now is just one mistake, one bad corner from Wyatt, and he's going to be alongside him. But like we were saying a minute ago, catching somebody's one thing, passing him is another. So what's going to happen here? They do have the lap car up here of Tomas Saba, the Hungarian driver. So will Todd try to use him as a pick or something here in a minute or so? Going to have to watch that, particularly going into the keyhole.
Thomas and Asbury Motorsports driver, the two drivers behind him, Extreme Motorsports and Extreme Motorsports. So you do have teammates back there. The Gooden and Honzarenko. Zabel keeps that car higher, does a nice job. Well, he's not only going to let one Mustang through, as Honzarenko will have to wait a bit. 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, despite appearances there, I don't think Todd lost that much time at all to Wyatt. I think that actually ended up working out okay. He is now in his draft, though, so I really think it's just a matter of time. I mean, Wyatt's going to be pretty good about holding him off, but, with Todd just being that much faster.
Well, yeah, it's all about you have two really talented drivers here, but they're not playing on equal playing field. Gooden is out there with really old tires. Honzarenko with much fresher tires, although not completely new. Look at Honzarenko now back behind him. Let's see what type of fight Gooden puts up if he takes a defensive line here. Gooden out there trying to be perfect. Honzarenko looking to peak wide, looking to peak now to the inside, trying to get a bite. Not going to be able to do anything through this section.
Off this corner.
Got
not going to be enough run, though.
Let's see, Honzarenko. Look at that. Gooden does not take a defensive line. I think he knew that there wasn't going to be a run there. Now they work their way down into the keyhole. Honzarenko back there. He has time. He doesn't need to press the issue. He'll have plenty of time to get this done. Just under 9 minutes. They've got the lap cars of Hen and Ruddock ahead of them. Hen is an MX-5, Ruddock is in a Mustang. The Mustang might be a little bit different. Gooden taking a normal line, protecting the inside now. Honzarenko looking, getting a little bit of a run, coming up on the outside, coming up now. Now he ducks in. He's going to not have the preferred position. He's going to try to get a little momentum. If he can hold this spot here, he'll have the preferred position through this left-hander. I believe this is going to get it done. Honzarenko on the inside. Gooden fights back for all he's worth. They continue to fight now. Gooden has the preferred position. They switch back to the right-hander, but the drive off by Honzarenko, and he gets that Extreme Motorsports 2 car out in front. Your new leader, Todd Honzarenko. Behind him, though, not giving up the ghost, not surrendering the Casper is Wyatt Gooden. They come up between the back marker, Christopher Hen. Hen looking to try to make that car get out of the way. He can't. Hen drives to the apex. That's going to slow down Honzarenko. Honzarenko now able to get it done. Gooden fights back in. Hen takes that car really wide. Gooden running behind him, but I don't think there's anything that Gooden can fight back with now. I think it's good night, nurse. Todd Honzarenko beginning to pull away.
What a battle. That is a great battle. You know, what was a great battle here between Hilly and Amjad Yaman has unfortunately dissipated. Amjad Yaman now signed himself just over 4 seconds back. Fighting for a podium finish. He's got it as long as he can keep the car clean, because it's a ways back to Christopher Hen, and I don't know if Szabo's going to have enough to catch him. Hen did a pretty good job of getting that traffic by, so we'll see what happens, but the fight really has kind of spread out here in the ST field, unfortunately, as we get into just the last few minutes of this race.
I may have sung "Turn Off the Light, the Party's Over" too soon, as Gooden doing a good job of staying with Honzarenko. If Todd makes a mistake, Gooden is there to capitalize.
Yeah, and I think at this point it's going to either take a mistake or something happening with the lap car here in the last couple minutes of this race for Wyatt to get back around.
Oh, well, here's the mistake, is Ruddick has been right in front of him. Careful, Russell, don't bring it out on the track in front of these cars. And he does a good
he's
job of
up.
keeping up. And
Todd's
look,
off.
it
Todd's
forces Hans Zarinka wide. Woo!
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you, the view I had of Todd going through that, man, he was working on that wheel. It's amazing that he didn't lose as much time, any more time than what he did through that.
Oh. We're going to go on board with Hans Zarenko and see what that looks like from a driver's perspective. Just when you think everything is going your way, that happens. Here, we ride on board with Hans Zarenko. Now, the spun has already happened here. It's when he brings the car back out onto the track that the issue starts to play. And there you can see Ruddick. Oh, this is right. This is after, I guess. That's it. We'll go back a little bit farther. You'll be able to see Ruddick way out in front. And you'll catch him on the right-hand side. There's the car spinning in front now. You can see the smoke. And now Hans Zarenka goes, where am I going to go? Whew. I'll go wide, put it out on the grass. He keeps it going straight.
Treating that wheel like a sawhorse.
Boys, Szabo has picked up things just a bit. There may be a podium in sight for Asbury Motorsports. It's going to be close. 5 minutes to go.
It could be fuel maybe for Hen trying to nurse it. It's down to 3.8 seconds. Remember, that was up to about 6 seconds when we looked at it a while ago.
Yeah, and they've all got one stop, Soup. So, they're pushing it.
Just real quick, while we were worried about the battle up front between first and second, S-House was able to get back around Williams a little while ago. But granted, they're still running nose to tail, and that could switch back. But that'll be something to watch here, too.
Yeah, that's probably your best battle on the track right now, except that they're teammates, and I'm not sure how really hotly contested that one is. Although when I saw them going around some of those ST drivers, they would beg to differ.
Yeah, here we go. Williams with another look on the outside. He really likes taking a look there.
Remember, both of these guys are in the hunt for the team championship. They want to get the most points they can for each of those cars. And talking about team championship is going to do a lot of help for 49 Motorsports. Going to close the gap on all those Asbury cars, Sean. Assuming that Hen can keep out in front of Szabo.
Yeah, assuming. That's a lot to assume. I got to tell you, I'm keeping an eye on Szabo. He is, he's really running well right now. He is definitely tracking him down. But again, is there enough time to pick it up? I don't know. Only 3.5 minutes. Szabo, not having to deal with the traffic yet. Hen had a little bit of a fight getting by Kruger there, and that slowed him up just a bit. That's all Szabo needs.
Again, putting out the call to Wyatt Gooden or Travis Davis for Extreme Motorsports 1. Make sure you come in for an interview. I want to know the strategy of not changing tires and to stay out long. I think it would have been a great strategy if this race was 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was those extra 10 minutes that were the Achilles heel.
That's how it's really
okay. Let's go to the battle
there.
for third now.
Williams once again with that outside look, but I think he's just hoping that S-House will make a mistake through there at some point, and he hasn't yet. In fact, he's been relatively mistake clean since we've seen him try to Tokyo drift through there a little while back.
Yeah, a little bit of mistake from Mika, and Craig would be able to do the over-under.
Oh, Szabo gets it out wide, off into the dirt. Coming out of the keyhole, that's going to lose a lot of time there to Christopher Hen. He was really starting to reel him in. That may be all Hen needs to hold him off with only 2 minutes left.
We go on replay now.
Yeah, just coming out of the keyhole there, Szabo gets it off wide. It had the lap traffic there. He was getting around and letting him get by, but he just swung it out wide and gets it all the way out. Back on track clean, but it cost him time. Precious time with now just a minute and a half to go.
Let's go up to Hanzarenko real quick before we look at that battle for third again. Hanzarenko needing to get his way around Amjad Yaman. Oh my goodness, Wyatt Gooden has come into the pits.
Wow.
He has come in, but he didn't take tires, so it was a matter of the amount of fuel he took. I told you before, sometimes these guys cut the fuel so close. He miscalculated. Now, is he going to be able to get out in front of the other drivers? I'm not sure if it's going to really be an issue here. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
Lap,
he's got S-House behind him, still about a little over a minute.
Yeah, so Gooden can go in there, have a little of a sandwich, still come out.
And it might have been one of those things where he knew he could get in and get out before, S-House and Williams coming along. So if he was close, maybe he could have made it. But he decided not to chance it, and, because I don't think there was any way he was going to be able to catch Todd.
No reason to risk it.
Guys,
and then, of course, if he knew he was close, maybe that's another reason that he was able to be run down so much. He was left. And go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say, I really think Hen is close on fuel. Again, he's let Szabo kind of creep up to him again. I don't think it's going to matter, as we're probably about to get the white flag here this time by.
15 seconds to go. I'm assuming we're not on the white flag this time. Sometimes they don't show it to me right away. Are we correct on that? There's one more to go. We're not on the white flag. We believe that is the case. Clock going down now to 0. It says finishing. So this could be the win here. Am I correct? Yeah, this is the checker flag, as our winner is Todd Hanzarenko in the Mustangs. And this is going to be not much long behind that. Oh, Hilly's already got around. Hilly will have a whole nother lap to go. So we can go ahead and follow up on some of these other battles. So let's go ahead then and spend most of the time looking at this S-House and Williams battle. Looks like S-House now is beginning to distance themselves away. It's going to be a little bit of time before the rest of the cars come around. Oh, but the flag is out, so I guess this will be these guys when they get to the finish line. This will be it for them. Keep an eye on Hilly where he is, so he has a long way to go before he gets to the
Yeah,
flag.
he's going to have to go all the way around. Exactly. Yaman already pulling off it. Race is over for him.
Gooden comes across in second. Keep an eye on your guy there, Hen. Make sure he's going to get across the line there, Sean. If he starts to slow down, give us a holler. We're going to focus right now on S-House and Williams. This is a battle between the two Bushfink cars. Blue ahead of red. Get out your spectrum charts. See how they go on the color wheel. Which one comes first right now? Blue. I think it's ultraviolet and infrared, so however that works out, right now it is the blue car out in front. Looking their way around is Craig Williams. I just don't think it's going to happen as they come to the start-finish line, and S-House is going to collect third position. Williams is going to finish just off the podium in fourth. Let's pick up Hen. Hen has stopped. Is he finished?
Yeah, he's already finished.
All
yeah,
right.
everybody's already come around. It was kind of strange how the checker came out there and guys got caught off cycle.
Hilly finally makes his way around as we get to the leader. He was actually the last car to finish on the track. Justin Hilly, your final car to come across is your leader of the ST class. Okay, boys and girls, we're going to have our director take us to break. Don't go away. We'll get interviews from everybody. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll be back in just a few. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Round 8 of the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series from Mid-Ohio. I am Soups On. My partner is Sean Ambrose and Adam Young. You know who you are. And now let's tell you who the finishers are of the event today. Adam, why don't you go ahead and run down your 5 competitors in the GS division?
Yeah, Extreme Motorsports 2 came home in first, and Extreme Motorsports 1, the teams came home in second. A very, very competitive race there at the end between Wyatt Gooden and Todd Herzenko. The Bushfink blue and red cars bring them home in third and fourth, and they really ran nose to tail pretty much all day long. Flying Tortoise Motorsports with Roderick, he ended up just a lap off the pace, but you know, he ran a pretty clean race. Him and his team did right up there until the very end when they had that one spin. But other than that, pretty good racing out of the Grand Sport division today.
And then we'll run down the ST class here for Sean. It's 49 Motorsports A, 49 Motorsports C, 49 Motorsports B. Congratulations to them, although I'm a little upset they weren't able to get that in alphabetical order. Asbury Motorsports, car number 74, that's their main car in 4th position. Asbury Motorsports, the 426 behind them, and then Asbury Motorsports 7, car number 75. So in the battle royal between the 49 Motorsports team and Asbury Motorsports, it's all 49 this week. Then rounding out some of the other drivers that were here, Extreme Motorsports 3, they came in 7th position overall. Mama Jean Racing, Jeroen Ursum put in his little initial visit there, then went to bed. And Progressive Racing, we saw the issues that we had earlier there from their driver, which was Gene Fittis. Now, we're going to go to some interviews. I'm going to take advantage of grabbing Dwight Gooden while we have him in there. So we're going to go with the second place driver in the Mustang class. We're going to bring him in for interviews right now. Dwight Gooden, do you have a copy? Wyatt Gooden, sorry, I always call you the pitcher for the Mets. Wyatt Gooden, do you have a copy? One more time to Wyatt. Okay, we probably caught him by surprise. We'll take him out. We'll bring him back in just a minute. Let's go ahead and bring in, then we can talk to our winning team over here, John Deuce Allen. John Deuce Allen, who spent a lot of time on this track in real world. He was paired up with another driver. Hilly had a great run. Deuce, you have a copy? Nobody wants to talk to the Global Sim Racing Channel today. We were going to ask Deuce some really intelligent questions, but he's not going to talk to us. Let's make sure everything's working right here. We'll come back to Deuce in a minute. Let's try somebody else. Here's somebody I know knows how to talk to us. It's Amjad Yaman. Usually he spends most of the race telling me to behave myself and stop being so silly. Let's see if we can see what he is. Amjad, tell me that you have a copy.
Yes, I do.
All right, you're the first. We tried 2. The 3rd time's the charm. Well, congratulations on your run today. We thought maybe you might have had something there for that 49 Motorsports A team. Just not enough at the end. Was fuel an issue, or was it just pure pace?
It was pace. I mean, they had the win strategy 1A. I had 1B. Because of the 2, they had 2 title stops. I only had 1, so there was no way I could compete at the end.
Oh, that's exactly right, yeah. Now, was 1 stopping it always the plan for you from the beginning?
Not really. When I found myself qualifying 5th and being behind the entire pack, I'm thinking, okay, I'll sit behind for the first half of this race and see what happens. And I ended up going like 5 minutes past halfway.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll go for it, see what happens. I got
we
nothing to lose.
We looked up there and said, well, not only can he go the distance, he can go the distance easily. So it was not so much that you didn't have to nurse so much at the end. It was just the fresher tires that you had to battle.
Yeah, I mean, if I was alone, I would have had to save a little bit as well. But the tow at the end helped me out. Part of the reason why I was able to keep up with them after they passed me was because I was in no tow and was able to save fuel while attacking.
Finally, before I let you go, we caught on the screen there, had a close call there when those Bushfink blue and red Mustangs went by you there.
Pesky Bushfinks, right? Yeah, I mean, I was hoping they would play it nice. Mika was definitely trying to play it nice, but then it was Williams, I believe, that took advantage of the situation. I mean, kudos to him for making the decision. I wouldn't do that to my teammate, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, they've been battling for a long time, so it's not like they just decided to do it when they got to you. Hey, congratulations on a nice drive today. Always fun to see our GSRC teammates out there. Congratulations, 2nd place, and how you feeling after 2.5 hours? Feel good?
I feel good. I mean, I've probably the longest I've gone was like 2 hours. Doing GT3 racing. Going 2.5 wasn't that bad.
All right, congratulations, Amjad Yaman, second place today. Amjad Yaman, you want to talk Ironman? We do these endurance races. He has spent 6 hours behind the knobs and sliders, sometimes directing some of our events. Let's go ahead and try one more time. Adam, I'm going to try to bring in. One more time here. If we can talk to Wyatt Gooden. Wyatt, one more try. Do you have a copy?
Hey, yep, I'm here.
Hey, there we go. Good. Hey, before I let Adam talk to you, you got to fill me in on the strategy. Was it always the strategy to stay out there on old tires and run as long as you can? We were questioning it big time in the booth.
Yeah. Well, I didn't quite do my job there regarding strategy. I just figured I'd go as long as I could and short stint at the end. But then I realized later on that short stinting doesn't really help much. So that was a strategy mistake on our part.
Were you able to see Hans Zarenko gobbling you up there when you were out there with about a 40-second lead and he was closing it little by little?
Yeah. I knew he was going to close pretty bad, but I didn't realize how bad the fall off was, and I didn't realize how quickly the tires would change, and that you don't really need to take much more fuel to be able to get tires and not lose time. So that was my fault, this lack of preparation.
Well, that's one thing we were wondering about, the tire fall off. Do they continue to fall off when they get old? Then they get even older and worse and more crappy? Because we were wondering maybe they settled down because Hans Zarenko was out there a long time on his too, but that's not the case.
Yeah, they definitely got like a little bit harder to drive, like pretty greasy. And I was just trying to hang on there at the end. I couldn't have gone any faster at the end. I think I was about 7 or 8 tenths off my fastest lap, and that was about all I had in it. So I was pushing.
Man, it was fun to see you out there battling with another big name, even though that it wasn't quite a level playing field there at the end, but always good to see you race. Congratulations, second place. Good for your team.
Yeah, thanks. And that was real fun. Got to run with Travis Davis, and man, he's improved a lot. He did really good. He was real consistent, got us out to a big lead. So that was it was fun. It was good for the team. Just a miscue in the strategy. That's all. We'll be back.
Absolutely. Okay, congratulations. There you have it. Wyatt Gooden, second place today. Adam, I brought in here, see if you can talk to our overall winner here, Todd Hanzarenko.
Hey,
how's it going?
Todd. I was going to ask you about a copy, but I think you just answered that. So, man, what a great drive trying to chase down Wyatt there at the end. Tell us a little bit what your thought process was and everything else when you realized just how much you were starting to gain on him.
Yep. So I kept an eye on our gap earlier in the race, and we were extremely close on the lap times. So Jeff kind of started working his strategy and asking me how we wanted to do it, and overall I'm like, I don't know, you make the call. So we went for all 4 tires on our last stop, and then just enough fuel plus a lap to make it to the end, and went back out. And then all of a sudden I started seeing that I was reeling him in, and I'm like, all right, let's see what he does on his pit stop. And I was trying to do the math in my head, and I'm like, it's gonna be really close. And then all of a sudden they came out 7 seconds ahead. So I was like, wow, that's a really fast pit stop. And it turned out they didn't take tires, and I started reeling them in. So I didn't realize that until maybe with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I definitely think you were, during that run-up and trying to chase them down and everything, I really think you were setting the fastest lap times out of everybody all day long, any driver, any team. So really good job there. Now, did your heart skip a beat there at that incident that you had to avoid with the spin and taking it off-road there for a second?
Yeah, at that point I was being extremely cautious. So when I saw that car off the road, I just wanted to make sure that he wouldn't come across on me. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take an off track for that.
Let me jump in for a minute because we got Jeff Jacobs in here, the teammate to Todd. Hey Jeff, nice early stint. Were you a little surprised that Wyatt Gooden did this strategy at the end?
Yeah, I thought for sure they would take at least left side tires, and that was going to make it pretty tough on us to close that gap. But then when they got in and out of that pit so quickly and without the car, raising up for the tires, I figured we had a good shot and had made the right call.
Yeah, it was interesting because the Honzarenko Gooden battle, given equal playing field, would have been exciting, but I think they, at least when we were watching it from the booth, it's like, why wouldn't you give Wyatt the best chance to hold off Todd that he could? It was really, there was almost no hope there at the end.
Yeah, I really think that maybe 2 tires, and sure, that might have cost them another 5 or 6 seconds, which means they'd have come out bumper to bumper with us. But then that'd have been an entertaining final 15 or 20 laps of the race.
Because they would have had fresher. At least 2 tires would have been fresher than what Todd was on, because Todd had been out there for a while trying to chase him down.
Yeah, that's right. But hey, it was a good effort overall by the Extreme team, and it'd be interesting also trying to figure out. We had a great race there at the beginning with Craig, but then I couldn't quite figure out what the Bushfink guys were doing out there. If they were trying to really, it seemed like they were laying off the pace to try to go for a fuel strategy. So not sure what was happening there.
Well, it's nice to get the win, and you pick up some more driver points for yourself. Keeps you in the chase for the overall picture.
Hey, that never hurts either. So it should be an exciting final, 3 races to go.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Jeff Jacobs and Todd Honzarenko. Nice job for you guys as you, which color are you guys? You are team number 2. Is that what it is? Extreme Motorsports 2.
That's it. Yep.
All right. You're going to get the number 2 team ahead of the number 1 team. Nice job, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Todd Honzarenko and Jeff Jacobs. Who we got? Hey, Adam, let's have you switch classes here a little bit. Do a little work. We're going to bring you over. Let you talk to, we talk to Deuce Allen here?
Yeah, John, do you have us?
I do now. Sorry about that, guys.
Hey, that's quite all right, man. Hey, you definitely set the tone as far as the MX-5s early on in this race and just started running away from everybody. What helped you be so much better than everybody else right there at the start of the race?
Well, as a team, we made a strategic decision to put me and Justin in the same car because the 2 of us have both turned laps around Mid-Ohio. Justin far more than myself, and that's why he closed. And we had strategy A, strategy B, like Amjad referred to earlier. Lots of options depending on how it all shook up. But once we had the pole and had a chance to get a gap, we decided to go 2 stops, keep the tires as good as possible, and then I gave back 20 seconds in my final 12 laps because my headphones died. I couldn't hear my engine, I couldn't hear my tires. I was just driving mute. So that was a challenge. So I left a little more work for Justin than he should have had, but obviously you saw him have no trouble.
And you brought it up about the real-world driving experience there, and we were talking about it up in the booth. Tell us a little bit about how that played a role in your guys' success. I mean, how much did the real-world part of it translate into iRacing here tonight?
Well, I wish Justin were here to tell you more. He races Spec Miata in SCCA and has every aspiration to go for a national championship at the runoffs, which happen to be at Mid-Ohio this year in another month or so. I'm just cracking into it. I hope to be able to chase him around here next year or 2. I just went to a racing school here last summer, and that's about it. I had about 3 days worth of a handful of laps, but it definitely felt a lot more familiar, and it was an advantage for sure.
Well, Deuce, I've watched you race. I was saying on the broad, this is soup. I've watched you race maybe 30, 40 times. I have never seen you more dominant than you were today. Didn't you feel that?
Yeah, we were confident. We put the practice in. Justin and I worked on a setup. Amjad and I worked on a setup a little bit. We shared the best of what we could come up with for different weather. We were prepared more than we ever have been, and we had the best roster probably that we've had in a while. We don't usually get to field 3 strong cars if we get to field 3 at all this season, so we wanted to take full advantage, and Justin and I definitely wanted to defend home turf, so there was a lot of pride at stake there. But that 49 podium is long overdue. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, well, sweeping the podiums for 49 Motorsports when Asbury Motorsports brought a full complement of teams as well. That's impressive. You really took it to Asbury today.
Yeah, and somehow I think Justin took delivery of a pizza while he was driving, so I had my headphone issue and he had a little challenge too. So I think we were very confident today. It was a good feeling.
Pizza.
Hey, congratulations on the win. Good job. You know, we were a little worried with only 14 cars in the field that we'd have to do a lot of filling, but you guys put on a good show. Thanks a lot, Deuce, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, boys and girls, that's going to wrap it up for us almost, except we have to go through the final credits. Now, pay attention because these are the people that make this race possible, and we have technology here that tracks if the people who are watching at the very end, and if you find out that you're tuning off, we're going to put you on our spam list. So make sure you stay with us. You don't want that spam coming your way. Thanks to Defined Auto Works for sponsoring this event located east of Columbus, Ohio. This garage is operated by enthusiasts for enthusiasts, building and tuning engines for use on street and track. Custom modifications, even designs and fabrications are available. Contact them anytime at definedautoworks.com. Hey, also thanks to everyone at the Quality Racing Syndicate. I like those guys. They're good folks over there for sanctioning this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Adam?
Yeah, and thanks to the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcast.
The original music you heard today is thanks to Eric Eckelman, Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. The Continental Endurance Sports Car Series returns September 10th for round 10 from Spa. We hope you will join us.
For details of all upcoming events or to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is globalsimracing.com, or globalsimracingchannel.com, that is. And we're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel.
And before we wrap this thing up, there's one thing I want to do. Adam, there's one thing now. I know you're new to GSRC, but you're going to be doing a lot more work, but you certainly have the talent. But it's important you understand how to say the call letter, so repeat after me. It's GSRC. Try that once. Go ahead.
GSRC.
No, it's close. One more time. GSRC.
GSRC.
That's good. You keep trying it again while I wrap this thing up. We'll get it. It's important. You're going to raise that S a little bit. And finally, on behalf of my booth mates, Sean Ambrose, Adam Young, and our director, Jason Pop Fleischley, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank you all for watching. And now that the housekeeping is out of the way and Adam's working on GSRC, it's time for us to go have some fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.